The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcastu. That's Jay.
You guys remember that time the Avengers ripped off?
No.
Dick. Die.
What did they rip off, Jay? Besides everything,
I was gonna say Battle Royale, like 12 years after it was relevant.
Did they?
Yeah, wasn't it like Avengers Academy or Disassembled or one of those fucking ones that Bendis did in the 2010s? I don't fucking know.
Bro, I don't read comic books.
Dude,
They're
you're
all
the
shite.
comic
They are.
guy.
I know I'm the comic person, Phil.
That's Chad.
Well, this has been a rather comedic, or I guess, I don't know. Insert pun here. I'm tired, and I guess, I guess I'm just, I don't know, something entry, something related to episode that we're doing here. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And since my wish was a wish that Phil already did his intro, so he already did his intro. So let's get started, shall we?
Fuck you.
Yes. So what are we talking about today, Jay?
Geats.
We are.
Yes, Jay.
God damn it.
We're talking about geats.
You know what? When Phil like just cut off for that 1 second, I know what he said, but also at the same time it sounded like feet. So it's like
I know, right?
A little bit.
I mean, Phil is into that.
You don't know
Anyways,
what
we're
I'm
talking about
into.
Kamen Rider. Yeah. That's right. No, they can't hear the Discord soundboard. Shit. All right. So all these quacks
No,
are
they
just to annoy us. All right. I'm gonna stop doing that then.
No, so actually, you know what? For the first time, because it's been a while since Chad's been here, Chad, why don't you do the story recap?
wow, okie dokes. So the year is the fourth year in Reiwa. Wow, almost said third. But anyways, it's the fourth year in Reiwa, or it's basically 2023, and we have basically a mysterious thing called the Desire Grand Prix, in which people will enter and fight for their wishes. We have the reigning champion, Ukyo Ace, who fights as the titular Kamen Rider Geats, and competes to have his wishes granted, alongside other characters such as Sakurai Keiwa, a good boy, Naon Kurama,
Best girl.
who else? Michinaga Azuma, almost
Best
forgot
guy.
him, and a myriad of many other colorful casts of people in which nothing can ever go wrong.
I was expecting you just to say, and the rest of
On
them.
Gilligan's
Well, I
Island.
mean, and the rest of them.
Was it Gilligan's
That's
Island?
what I
voice
just said!
And the rest.
Well, look, okay. I guess because there's like 700 million fucking characters in this goddamn show.
There
we have to
are,
just go
and
through all
like
of them.
none of them matter except for 5.
Or win.
What? Don't you guys care about
Well,
Kyoryu
what
Blue?
about? Yeah. What
I
about Kyoryu
cared
Blue,
about
dude?
him. I wanted him to
And then
come
he died
back.
the
What
first
about
episode.
Time Fire, dude. You didn't care about him.
He was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
he was actually kind of cool.
Time Fire is just Time Fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Time
It's hard to go
He's-
wrong.
Time Fire is
yeah.
both a Sentai and a Rider now, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He joins the ranks. Anyways,
Now he just needs to be.
so
an
I guess
Ultraman.
we. Oh, that's next year. Ultraman Geriatric.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Kyoryu Blue is also now a Sentai and a writer as well.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
He does technically count.
I mean, in a weird way, but yeah. So I guess fuck it. Let's just start with our main character, Ace.
What an asshole!
He's I guess nice Tendo.
He is Reiwa's Tendo.
Diet Tendo.
He's the nice version of Tendo.
I say Diet Tendo.
Yeah, I mean that's the easiest way to explain is that I don't want to say necessarily diet Tendo because that implies that he's just watered down, which he kind of is, but it doesn't. That implies negativity. He's
Well, okay. Tendo is Coke. He's Pepsi.
all right. I guess that
Alright,
works.
alright.
That's good
Yeah.
enough for me. I was gonna say Tendo too, but
Hyper Tendo.
yeah.
Wait, that exists.
Wait, yeah, that's just regular Tendo. Yeah, no, it's weird. I think everybody kind of pretty much earmarked him as just, like, being Tendo again from, like, episode 1, and up to the finale, it pretty much stayed the same, yeah. He is a duplicitous, self-serving egotist who is constantly working every single person in the room, sometimes usually including himself, all for whatever insane scheme or plan or whatever the fuck he's got cooking for that immediate moment. Everybody thinks he's a complete dick. Less so
And
than
they're
Tendo,
right.
because Ace at least manages to have friends and consistent allies, and
I mean,
Ace
like,
doesn't let his ego
forms-
get in the way.
forms relationships with people and manages to convince people to, like, actually join him instead of being like Tendo, where Tendo's just like, I'm the son, fuck you, and then everybody just kind of gives up because he's Tendo.
You know what? I could say like the easiest like way to summarize Ace is basically, damn it, Ace, and basically up until the end it's okay, Ace, and just everyone just kind of rolls with it at some point.
That's good. You know what? That's fair. Yeah, is damn it, Ace. That pretty much summarizes everything that he does.
What about Ono? What about
it's
Onore
very
too?
strange, though.
Yeah, what about Onore Ace too?
I don't think anybody actually says that. Bizarrely,
No
enough.
one ever said that. No.
Yeah, surprisingly, well then again, that's more or less a Decade thing, and luckily he wasn't Decade, so.
Well,
Thank
I
fucking
mean,
Christ
Buffa
for
kept telling him. Buffa kept telling him to get bent, so
Until he didn't.
that's it. But it is really weird about Ace though, because like, I guess from like word go, I kind of always thought, oh, are they just gonna make him go full like actual asshole Tendo by the end? And they, if anything, they softened him pretty hard after a while, which is really strange. I didn't expect that to come out of
They
him.
softened him pretty hard. That's kind of a weird statement in itself already.
I know, right? I mean, this whole show is kind of weird. Thank you, Takahashi.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we've got Yuya Takahashi writing, and that pretty much tells you everything you need to know, good and bad. I'm just gonna be straight up.
We'll get
up
to
front.
that.
No,
We'll get to that.
It's weird because it's not even like they necessarily soften him, because he was already relatively like. It was definitely made clear very early on that a lot of his like duplicity and assholishness was a front, just kind of like his character. Like it was a lot of it was like he's a good person, he knows he needs to be a huge asshole to get what he wants, and whether he has to fuck somebody over for it, he's gonna fuck somebody over, but he's gonna do his part and chip in and, you know, be nice when he can.
Yeah.
So as the game starts becoming the kayfabe of the game breaks down, and like the reality of the situation sets in for everybody, including himself, he starts to kind of step away from that dickish character for the most part. And when he starts to kind of go back into it, you can always tell, all right, well, there's some fucking shit cooking in the background. He knows more than everybody else is going on.
He's working. He's working.
He's working. He's got an angle. He's working his angle.
He's got something cooking.
Yeah. And that's
And
I
honest-
like
yeah.
that. I did really enjoy that nature of his character. It was very interesting.
I mean, overall, I really liked Ace to be just in general. It's weird, like, this is a character that is primed for me just kind of rolling my eyes, because let's be completely honest when we're saying what we're about to say. He is Tendo in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And some of those things are not very good ways.
No.
Like, let's call a spade here. Boy's a Gary Stu through and through. Like, I don't think the guy really loses pretty much ever, at least when it comes to, like, actually important fights. Because even when he loses his one important fight, he's like, actually, I won.
I mean, they kind of explain that, like, what, 4 or 5 episodes in, where it's like, oh, he won the previous game, and his wish was that I can never lose. So the show straight up tells you early on, he can't lose. He can never lose. Even when everybody involved conspires to fuck him over, he will still win. And
And it pisses off
Yeah,
the
it's
game
very
master.
Gary Stewish, especially once we start getting more into his backstory near the end.
Oh,
And especially the fucking end game of the show.
backstory.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that's to a flaw of the show where it's not like everything immediately resolved. Again, it's not like he ever never struggles or there's no like stakes or plots just immediately resolve themselves. He still has to work, he still has to actually like try, but the show is very straight up like no matter what happens, Ace will eventually win by the end, and it doesn't matter how fucking retarded it gets. He'll pull something out of his ass to win. It's
What part of him was trying when he got prayed into existence?
I mean, okay, look, the fact that Ace is, for all intents and purposes, Jesus is that's different. All right, that's
Transcends Jesus. He's
I mean, look,
God.
It's a metaphor.
Geats 9. Look, I love Geats 9, but Geats 9's such a fucking asshole. It's not even funny.
dude. Geats 9 is literally just know you the form.
It really fucking
Ultra
is.
Instinct.
It's just I win now.
It's
Lol.
Ultra Instinct.
It's not even.
That's
Ultra
not what
Instinct.
Ultra
It's
Instinct.
fucking.
That's.
Geats 9 is
It's-
the equivalent of typing in SV Cheats
Well,
1.
no, let's
Fuck
also think
you.
of it this way. It's like, remember how Kiwami Arms was also basically considered the god form? Yeah, no, they actually somehow wrote God into this, even being more god than Hyperform, Kabuto, and also like Kiwami Arms Gaim.
Oh, that would be a cool fight to
Pretty
see.
much, yeah. I think like in terms of literal, actual like god tier power, I think not copping out and saying Omazeo, I can't think of a writer who's this objectively unnecessarily overpowered in his final form.
There's only one more that I can think of, and that's Saber's, because Saber literally can just like.
Yeah, okay,
rewrite
that's
the world
fair.
by thinking.
Saber's final form was ridiculously overpowered as well, but
Saber's final form is like no U times 2.
it's true.
But Geats is also. I mean, again, to call a spade here. He just becomes Jesus.
Pretty much.
So he comes with all the powers, Jesus included.
Well, let's
So-
let's also just remember this right now. Saber is our Lord and Savior. He's the reason why we have Super Sentai and Kamen Rider at the end of the day.
We have-
You're right. I forgot.
We have books because of him.
Actually, didn't what's his face? The guy who plays Zin
Yeah.
play a Shinomori in that movie?
Yes, he did. That was
That's weird.
Fuku. Suzuki Fuku, I believe.
That's right.
So
He was also in
We'll
Daimon.
get to.
Watch that one
We'll
day.
get to. Wait, was he?
Yeah,
Oh
he,
yes,
yeah,
he
he was a kid. Yeah.
is. Oh my! Oh, I fucking forgot about that.
We need to watch
Um,
that one day.
But we did.
When?
We reviewed
You
it, Phil,
didn't.
like 3 weeks ago.
We did?
Anyways,
Daimajin Kanon?
but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we did that. We did
Yeah,
that
we did.
episode.
Well, we did Echo Game. We did Eco Game.
no,
We did it before Eco
Daimajin
Gamer.
Kanon.
We did.
anywho,
Yes.
Anyways.
I don't remember
Anyways,
that.
back on topic.
Moving on. Back to Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I like Ace to a point because I think even at a certain point where, I mean, to be fair, towards the end game, he becomes less of a character and more, okay, he is just the plot now.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, anything that really made him that interesting, I was like, well, I mean, I guess his story is over. But then again, that's going to come down to a problem we're going to talk about later with Takahashi being Takahashi again.
Yeah, once he goes full white hair groovy mode, he basically stops becoming a character. It's
100%.
It's a little disappointing, but that's just kind of a greater symptom of the problems of the ending. But up until that point, Ace is a very interesting character where even like when he is objectively being awful or he's doing bad things, like I mean, there's no secret. Like, yeah, he's killed people. He's killed plenty of people over many, 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 many years. And he shows no qualms in it. It's all to his own single, ultimately relatively selfish desire. I mean, in terms of, like, end goals of main writers, he's probably one of the more selfish writers because his end goal really at the end was, I want to find my mommy. And then also I want to figure out what the fuck this death game thing is. But mostly just because I want to find my mommy.
I mean, hey, you know what? We went from daddy issues to mommy issues.
It's true.
That was
We
the
haven't
first.
had mommy issues in Kamen Rider
is true.
for quite some time now that I think about it.
I mean, Ghost technically, but to be fair,
They fucking
the
mentioned
writer
they didn't mention his
remember.
mom until like the last 3 episodes, if he doesn't count.
And also, Ghost had a
Well,
lot of daddy
they mentioned
issues.
his mom when he was dying. But anyways,
Ghost had a lot more daddy
Um,
issues than anything.
Yeah. It's
Anyways,
very
but, like,
it's very interesting where despite all of that, despite just like how like negative of traits he has, he's still a very likable character. And that's honestly half of that is just the natural charisma and talent Kan Hideyoshi has. He pulls off that smarmy dickhead role so perfectly. It just feels natural. I saw somebody say around episode 25 or so that Ace might be possibly the worst person to have become a main writer. And I'm hard pressed to disagree even up to the ends of the finale. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad person or a bad character.
well, I would say, because I do agree with that sentiment. I would say, in terms of morality, he is possibly the most negative we've ever had as a main writer. Because like you said, his goal at the end of the day is entirely selfish, and to some extent, you can even say is hypocritical, because you know how dare he get mad about his mommy doing that, but then he goes right behind everyone and just does it himself anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Or
You
even
could
then,
al-
we can use this as a segue to ostensibly the secondary writer of the show, where there's kind of that debate of like sacrificing lives is wrong when it personally affects me, Ace, but you know, all of the people I've murdered in my own selfish goals, who fucking cares?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, he got mad because his mommy got turned into stone. But then when Kay was like, well, fuck you, Ace. Your mom did this, and all of this is your fucking fault. Ace is like, no. So, in reality, when you think about it, neither of... I mean, Kaywa more so is less so than Ace, but neither of them towards the end are really good. I mean, to be fair, you can argue, maybe besides, like, Nago... Nobody here really is a good person.
No,
Not really.
No, I think that's very interesting, and I think that's what's made Geats relatively divisive, especially like as we went into the end games. That there's hardly a good person left by the end of the show. Even Kayla, who is by all accounts like the closest thing we have to a true proper writer protagonist in terms of motivations and goals and just personality. Even by the end of the show, he's not a great person. He's done a lot of bad things and has made a lot of bad decisions. Even before his little like his punished Kayla arc. But we need to talk about him before we get to punished Kayla.
Again, so to just finish up on my end with Ace, again, it's really interesting, and I think Takahashi, in this sense, he really hit it out of the park, where he did not shy away from the fact that, yeah, everyone here is a selfish prick. I'm not saying they're not. They are. Everyone here is extremely selfish, no matter how, I guess, philanthropic their goals might seem.
No, I mean,
And it's interesting.
I think also it just helps that, aside from that, like, since this is like full Takahashi behind the wheel, we also don't have Omori also, like, at any point near the production, which is really nice.
Oh, no, that's the cool thing too, because of that, we get to see Takahashi again. Like I said, he gets to show fully, like, okay, yeah, they're technically heroes because they're saving people, but I don't think any of them would hesitate stabbing somebody in the fucking eye at this point. Like, towards the end, everybody has stabbed each other in the back at least once.
No, it's almost like I don't want to say more realistic. It's very heavily steeped in shades of Ryuki in that regard, where it's like Ryuki if Shinji wasn't there. And even then, Shinji is like, Keiwa is kind of Shinji to a degree up until the end there. I think that's probably the closest comparison character wise. It's very much like, what if Ryuki didn't have as strong a moral protagonist, essentially, I think is the best way to summarize Geats.
I think that's a good way to say it as well, because again, like, everybody here at one point or another kind of cracks. Maybe not to the extent of some others, but everybody cracks at least some point.
Oh yeah.
And I like that. And to go into what you were trying to talk about with Keiwa, I mean, fuck, what happened there, buddy?
Oh boy, howdy.
I will say though, and I know I'm jumping the gun here. Well, it's two things about Punished Keiwa. One, I expected that to happen way fucking sooner, not the last fucking few episodes. And two, I kind of don't feel like the resolution. I feel like the resolution was a little too fast, but I think that's just Takahashi again.
Again, I think you're definitely right. Everybody, like, the problem with Punished Keiwa is that everybody fucking saw it coming from episode 1. Because we see, oh, it's a battle to the death survival game. And here we have the guy who wants absolute perfect world peace and harmony and everything, and he wants to be friends with everybody. So obviously something horrible and traumatic is going to happen, and he's going to go full psycho mode and try to take over the world or some shit. Everybody saw that coming from minute 1 when we were introduced to him. So I think after a point it just became like a ticking timer, just waiting for him to finally snap. And it's like every episode's like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like, oh, never mind. Oh, it's gonna happen. Ah, never mind.
Yeah.
And then by the time it happens, we've got like 10 episodes left. Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, it was never a question of if. Again, it's like it's only a question of like when, never if at this point.
Mm.
And I think the way they did it, it should have happened a little earlier in the series, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I would agree with Chad. It should have happened earlier because, I mean, I'm going to stick to my guns when I say that resolution came in way too suddenly. It basically went from, I'm going to rip your fucking balls out, Ace, to, Ace is my friend.
It should have happened before Geats 9. I think it should have happened then.
Yeah. Or if anything, Geats 9 should have been the thing that
yeah.
like brings him out of it, frankly.
Yeah, I think actually that's a good way to do it. It was where you set it up, and then Geats 9 shows up as like a counter, because you can even still have him get Bujin's sword, and he's totally unstoppable at this point. And that's when Geats 9 comes in, and he's got a match, and that's where Keiwa starts to soften up.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Jay, because, I mean, that was something that Keiwa himself was saying, like, prove to me that you can actually do something about all of this. And, I mean, look at fucking Geats 9. Like, Geats 9 was already a thing after he said that, and I'm like, Keiwa, he has actual, like, reality warping powers. What the fuck are you on, brother?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just also going to put this out there, unrelated kind of a thing. That font did not help Bujin's sword. Or should I say button sword. Good old button sword.
Been there.
Done that.
No, but, like, again, it's kind of a thing of, I understand that they only had, like, 5 episodes left, but I just feel, it kind of is that thing that I think it's more egregious here because of the circumstances, but it's kind of the reason why I didn't really vibe with the idea that Brave went fucking cuckoo bananas in X-Aid. Only there was a better reason and more of a resolution to that than here, where, let's be honest, I mean, he goes cuckoo bananas and then Geats is just like, stop it, bro. And he's like, oh, well, got me there.
If you think about it, the circumstances are pretty much the same, where both Brave and Tycoon get effectively tricked into going cuckoo bananas evil and getting their dark power up because the villains promised them exactly what they wanted. And then it turns out, oh, haha, we were lying and just tricking you. And then they're just kind of stuck hanging around being kind of evil. Even though, like Kay was at least a little more evil than Brave was during that period. Because at least he's, like, doing evil things.
See, that's what I was kind of hoping was going to happen with Keiwa, where Keiwa is just like, all right, I knew you guys were tricking me, but I still want to just kill people. I just want to fuck all you up.
Because I mean, they kind of set
that
that up with like the Rider gang thing, where it's like, oh, you got your wish to bring so and so back, but now there are all these killers back too, and they're killing all these people.
It's an ostensive monkey's paw.
Yeah. It's like, well, all right, well, I'll just kill them all again, so I don't have to deal with them. And then he like kills like one guy, and that's about it. And,
Pretty much.
So, all right. Whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you and Chad when it's like, I feel like that should have been done earlier. Like, you should have gotten Bujin sorted earlier, and it should have been Geats 9 that stopped him from being cuckoo bananas. Because once he has that... Because we saw it a bit with Buffa, where he's just killing people left and right, even though he doesn't really want to. I would have liked to see a contrast of that, where Bujin Sword is like, nah, I know what I'm doing. I don't fucking care. I'm just that far gone at this point.
Yeah, I think that would have been pretty good too. But I think at that point they had kind of already done that arc with Buffa too, so I think it would have been redundant as well. So it's kind of a lose-lose there.
To be fair, they did a lot of things with Buffa.
They did.
That poor some bitch, man. But
Poor Michi.
I think overall, I like Keiwa overall as a character. I just feel like he should have been done a little bit more justice with his Bujin Sword arc because, I mean, dude, come on. You tease us with that bullshit for how many episodes just for him to go like, all right, well, I had my tantrum. I'm done.
Yeah. And like the thing is that like
home.
I think everybody also expected, not necessarily as the same time, but everybody kind of expected, oh, Caleb was going to get his win and get his wish for his world, and oh, it's gonna be a fucking monkey's paw, and everybody has to sort out his bullshit.
Pretty much.
And they do it at the same time as his evil arc, and they don't really like match. Like if it was more like, granted, I think that whole idea was made earlier on before like the whole reality game thing starts breaking down. So I think it would have been more interesting if it was like he was more in charge and he wasn't getting like fucked around. He was like doing his evil thing. He's like, I want world peace, and it turns into like a totalitarian like dictatorship because he's this ultimate power now and he wants world peace. So how do you get world peace? Well, you're just gonna become a dictator. So I think that would have been a more interesting like heel turn arc as well for him.
I legitimately expected that's what was going to happen because of Bujin Sword. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's literally going to be so powerful. He's gonna let it go to his head of like, okay, I know how to protect you guys.
And it
you
would have
don't.
been. It also would have been a good. Sorry to cut you off there. It would have been a good contrast with Buffa's arc too, where his was just like anarchy, everybody die, let the monsters roam free, kind of stuff
Well,
like
at
that.
first-
It would have been a nice contrast as well too.
Like overall, I think with Kayla though as well, I'm also kind of personally happy they didn't go like the full-on Tendo and Kagami route.
Ugh.
Yeah, they could have so easily have done that, and I'm kind of happy. To be fair, like, while they are friends, I always kind of felt like Kayla was like, man, if I just had a gun and just to shoot you, I would
He
have.
probably would have.
I mean, to
Yeah, I think.
yeah.
I think that's very interesting as well, where Keiwa is very much friends with Ace, but he's also like immediately sick of his bullshit from day one. And as more and more things go on, he's like, we're friends in the sense that we will like share the same space and a goal, but we're not friends anymore. Like that kind of thing of like we're friends, but we're not friends.
He was really mad at Tsurumi for like shooting him first.
It's true.
Which is the funniest thing, by the way. He just gets shot in the head, but we'll get to that. Just overall, Kay was cool. I agree with Chad. Glad they didn't do the Kagami bullshit because that would have been really dumb, honestly. But
Also, I will say one last thing is that they really did start to do him dirty after Mark. I think it was Mark 2 was the Desire Star arc. I think it was like right around then is when they really started to do him dirty. It was like he kind of becomes a joke for a little while, and then that game ends and he kind of like dies but not really, and then comes back and that's where we get like the slow like, oh, is this episode going to be Punish K-What? No. We get that for like 10 episodes. Like it really was kind of a slow decline for him as a character, unfortunately, which is a shame because for the most part he was an interesting character and had a lot of good interactions. It's just like his own personal arc gets really stymied after a point.
do you think that's because Takahashi, for once in his life, realized I'm going too fast with this, but then didn't know how to actually stop it?
Dude.
At least with Keiwa, just specifically with Keiwa, everything else he was going Mach 5. I'm gonna be honest.
Probably
specifically
not,
specifically with Keiwa, I feel like he realized, oh, if I do punish Keiwa too fast, I'm kind of fucked because that's my thing.
I think the problem was with the arc he does it, the Desire Star arc, is just like there were too many characters. He had too many characters, and he really just kind of had no use for Keiwa, and he's just like, well, I'm stuck with you, so you're the joke character now.
Oh, you mean the Amogus arc?
Yeah, the Amogus.
You know what? I'm surprised they actually did an Amogus arc after even watching Saber.
I know.
Yeah.
There was some meetings had after that one.
Clearly.
But yeah. So now we talk about the Cowman. Talk about
Buffa's
Buffa.
an interesting character.
Wacky woohoo cowman.
Yeah, we can
I
talk
like
about
it. I
Buffa
like-
D's nuts.
I like Michinaga. I think he goes from being like the antagonistic rider who just wants every other rider to die. He goes from that to being somebody who actually will stick his neck out just to help people.
He's definitely a very interesting character and serves as well as another very interesting kind of dichotomy both to Keiwa and Ace, where he's very blunt about what his goal is. He fucking hates the Desire Grand Prix. He hates all the riders. His friend got murdered by a bunch of asshole riders, which never really gets resolved as a plot point. But he just like, I fucking want to kill all the riders forever and ever and ever. And that's his end goal, is I want to win to fucking murderize the rest of you people forever. It's very straightforward as a character. It's very weirdly blunt of, I am the antagonist early on. And he goes a lot of really weird places, too, as a character. Especially once they start introducing, like, the supporters, and then they do the Jamato Grand Prix, and he gets his weird heel turn until he's just like, being evil's gay. Fuck this. I'm done.
He pretty much goes like that. He's like, fuck this.
He just kind of quits. He's just like, man, like, these guys are fucking losers. Like, who cares? Yeah, cool. I got to kill all the people I want now. And it's like, oh, it's actually kind of boring, huh? I was like, it's whatever. And,
But I do agree with what you
I
say.
guess if these guys win more, like, I'm gonna die. So I guess I kind of like, it's what I mean. Man, this was dumb. Why'd I do this?
But I do agree with what you said that Takahashi kind of used him as the pinball, just to throw him everywhere, see where he would land.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, it really works because you get to see him in pretty much every role you can imagine: antagonist, villain, anti-hero. It's like, it's so weird to see a character go through so many stages within just one show. And he kind of works with all of them, really.
Yeah, definitely interesting how versatile his character was, despite, relatively speaking, not changing too much as a character.
I will say, though, the Jamato Grand Prix was probably his lowest point in the sense of, like, he just kind of felt like he was middling at a certain time. I'm like, oh, he doesn't want to be here, so it's fine.
Yeah, but that whole arc kind of started to
Went
go
on
some
forever.
weird places. Well, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It went on fucking forever.
It
And just
did.
never wanted to end. Thanks, Bebora, you fucking bitch.
God, how the fuck did she stay around for as long as she did?
Because
How did she come
I
back?
have no
Fucking
idea.
science.
Like,
I
fuck,
don't know, dude.
Like, fuck you, dude. Like, whatever. Kekara is cool. He's a frog.
He's
but
cool.
fuck Bebora, dude. Like, she's such a... What is
There's
this?
still no love-
What is
there's
this?
Still no love for my boy Cute.
Well, we'll
Cares
talk about...
him.
We'll talk about the
I
supporters.
feel
when we
like
talk
Cute's
about
such
the
a
supporters.
non-character, but we'll get to him later.
He is such a
I
non-character.
love Cute.
But no, I did.
Shut
that
up,
was
Paul.
what I liked is that I keep trying to force myself not to just call him Michi, because they start calling him Michi at a point, which is unfortunately a very fair comparison, because he kind of speedruns Michi's story arc after a while, where he does like
without all like the molestation.
without the molestation and being an incel and all of that, he kind of does like Michi's whole arc of, I am feeling unwanted because there's somebody better than me. I have an opportunity to worm my way up into a position of power, and I keep doing that, and I keep fucking over everybody else, and I ended up in a wrong spot, and everybody's going to lose now, and I gotta kind of pull myself back a bit, and a little bit of redemption. He does Michi's entire series long arc over the span of like 15 episodes, I would say.
To be fair, he has a better resolution than Michi. 'cause
Well,
I at
he
least
does
believe-
because
I at least believe that Michinaga is not a fucking schizo.
No, he's definitely like, for starters, even at the beginning, he's definitely a better person than fuck. That's
Mitsuzane.
right. And again, this is the problem, is that now they're both named Michi.
I guess we'll just say Buffa and Michi. I
Or
don't know.
Buffa and Ryugen. I don't know. Whichever one you guys
Buffa
want to do.
Ryugen, yeah.
Buffa is a better character because, for starters, he starts off in a better position than Michi did, because Michi was always a fucking creep, even from day one. That kid was earmarked for evil, like long before he even turned evil.
Buffa was just really mad.
Posting here into the image feed that clip of him saying, "I'll betray anyone and everyone." The classic Michi quote.
That's what I'm saying. Buffa was just angry. Buffa's just really mad.
He was
Michi,
just pissed off.
He's
Michi
just a
belongs
bull.
on a Michi belongs on a registry.
Yeah, actually.
Oh no, Ryugen belongs on a registry because I can't call him Michi.
Fuck! I hate you, Takahashi. I hate you so much.
He did
piece
it on
of
purpose
shit.
too. I know it.
I
Or
know
no.
he did it
You
on
could
purpose.
say it this way. There's Reiwa Michi and then Heisei Michi.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
you're
That's a good way. That's good.
Okay.
And then
But
we're
yeah,
gonna do a
so
third show in the Reiwa era that has a fucking Michi as well.
no, we're gonna have one for the Soba era with Michi.
Unless they're gonna do like a
Emperor Soba, yeah.
or no, unless they do like a Gaim 10-year special in Reiwa. In that case, it's like, oh,
Oh fuck. Ah, Jesus.
now you know it's
no, but
now
yeah,
you know it's coming.
Ryugen
to go-
Kiwami. Ugh.
Oh, but to go back to Buffa, again, I feel like I don't know, something about his character just fits with this kind of show because you see a guy go from to go back to what I was saying earlier, an extremely selfish piece of shit to, oh, maybe if I'm not doing that, people might actually like me.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm not an asshole, it'll be fine.
And it was interesting too, where I think a lot of it is also another element of be careful what you wish for, because he gets what he wants. Oh, excuse me, that was gross. He helps the Jamato essentially win and get his wish of, I want to be indestructible and kill all writers forever and ever, and
Which lasted about 10 episodes.
which lasted for a little while, and then he realized like this really wasn't worth it in the long run, because now it's like I think it was a situation of like the ends didn't necessarily justify the means, because the ends just created more problems for him, and the reality of like, because he has this whole thing where he's starting to become a Jamato, and I don't remember if they ever actually resolved that. I think they just kind of like forgot that he's a monster man.
No,
Well,
they.
I think it's because the world got reset
yeah.
at some point.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, they semi-explained it by because he looks at his hand when the world gets reset and it's gone now, and it's like, oh, okay, that's why.
I must have
not
forgot about that.
he's not a tomato anymore.
Mm.
But again,
Yeah.
it's yeah. I was.
I think it was like, because a part of it is that he was one, and that's what kind of why he's helping him. And he realized like, I'm really not actually anything like this, and these things are basically faceless monsters. Like the people who are helping me are only doing it because they are insane and want to blow up time or whatever the fuck Biroba's goal. I don't even know what the fuck her goal was.
Baroba was just.
No, Bonobo was
know,
basically
goth
like,
woman.
I want to screw with people because I like screwing with people. I
Yeah.
am just that bored.
Yeah,
Well, I was going to say because Jay, you bring up an interesting point, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier too, with Kawa, and that's when you think about it. There's no wish really in this show besides maybe the last one that doesn't have lasting consequences, like negative consequences. And it's interesting when you think about it that way, because like every wish that everyone's made in this show, again, sans the last one, has a very negative side effect, like extremely so. And I think that's really interesting that the show does not shy away from the fact that like, well, yeah, if you're being so like vague and closed-minded with some of your wishes, eventually they're going to come bite you in the ass. Like Chad said, it's a monkey's paw. Everyone had a monkey's paw.
it was.
Yeah.
And I did think that was very interesting as well. And for the most part, it's done fairly well with the way Takahashi resolves all that. But I think that's the weird. Yeah, I think the weird thing is like again, as I was saying, like Michi. Fuck, god damn it, Buffa. Now we're going back. We're going back on that tangent. Buffa kind of pulls himself back from that like depressed edgelord state because he gets what he wants. He's like, this isn't really what I wanted, and he kind of redeems himself almost without really like the show needing to put a spotlight on that he redeemed himself, which I found was really interesting.
Oh, 100%. Because like his redemption is so subtle that you probably won't even notice it until it happens, and I like that. Also, I have to commend Takahashi because I know it took every ounce of willpower not to make Buffa the joke character.
Oh my god!
You could tell he wanted to make him the meme character at one point. And I'm like, don't do it.
The fact that we don't get an obligatory Takahashi meme character is astounding.
They didn't even turn Brain Jr. into the meme character.
Well, like the fucking closest we get is Daichi, who is a symptom of another Takahashi problem. But
he's the meme character because he's fucking pathetic.
He's the obligatory Takahashi villain who gets redeemed, except they're never actually redeemed, but they're just kind of there now. He's this season's version of Dan and Thouser, where like they just kind of stop being antagonists. They didn't stop being evil. They're still evil.
What do you think about it? Daichi just became Olimar.
He kind of did.
At the end of the day,
that's a Pikmin reference.
No, like friggin', especially in like the finale episode blogs as well, they actually do drop this like, oh yeah, the Jamato pick, and it's like, oh, wait, it's just Jamato. Like they literally dropped like they
for real?
They knew what they were doing. Like very literally, they made a Pikmin joke in the blog.
Man, Pikmin 5's looking lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess from Buffa, from Michi, I don't remember his actual name. I don't care.
It's Michinaga.
Azuma Michinaga.
Beef Man. Kitaku Man. I don't know.
Wait, no, that's just Ace. Ace is kind of Kitaku Man.
He kind of only. Actually, no. Kitaku Man's. I think he is just a worse person than Ace, to be honest.
Well,
with you.
yeah, okay, that's fair. Kitaku Man has absolutely no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
He has killed and will kill again, with a smile on his face.
Well, no, so has an Ace. So.
Well, it's okay. Ace only killed people that didn't matter. Kitaku Man was the one who took out Abe. I know that.
Yeah, the worst part is that Kitaku Man is technically real, and he could potentially hear that.
That is
true.
No!
Anyways, to go on. I guess the next one we gotta talk about is Nago Neon Catwoman.
God. Why the fuck was she in the entire season?
I hate to say it, Jay, but I knew you were gonna hate her. I knew it.
It's not even like I didn't even necessarily hate her up until like the end game arc, because like her character is so fucking like what I don't even want to say one dimensional. Like her arc has no reason to be as long as it is.
Oh no, not
her
at all.
Arc should have been fucking resolved by the end of the first game, and she should have been replaced with somebody else. I'm just gonna be blunt. Like, there is no fucking reason Neon needed to stay around for the entire season.
100%, dude. I thought she was gonna be replaced with the what was she?
Oh,
was
Lopo.
She like the goth chick. Was that her?
Oh wait, the
Lopo.
Wait, the goth chick.
The chick that came with
from
the old man.
From the second arc. What was it?
Yeah,
what
yeah.
fucking animal was she?
She was like a.
The one with
she
the old dude who died immediately. Well,
yeah.
whatever the fuck animal she was.
Like, I thought she was gonna be replaced with her because I was like, oh, okay, a completely new character, and I was like, oh no, she's gone. What? She's good. I don't even think she got a spot in the fucking opening when I think about it.
No, I think she did. I don't remember.
Did she?
She might have.
I don't remember, but yeah, like she just fucking died. But I thought that's who was going to replace Neon because, like, oh, that's it. Her arc should be done, I guess. But no, she stayed around the entire show for no reason.
She wanted the love of her parents. She wanted Time Fire's love, and you know what? Okay, you know what? Curious question. I was talking to both AJ and Phil about this, but do you know who her mom is?
Kitty.
Jay, do you?
I
do you
know her from one thing.
She looks.
I'm
stupidly
pretty sure
familiar.
it's not the thing you're going to say. But go ahead and say it, and then I'll say what I'm thinking.
I know her face from somewhere, but I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember at the moment.
Okay. Or how about Phil? Do you remember seeing her from anywhere?
No, not necessarily. Why?
Phil can't even remember the same writer show to show, bro.
Okay. So, anyways, if my memory serves me correctly, Neon's mom, you actually saw her in Agito.
Oh.
Oh, is it?
Yep, I believe she was the same person who played Ozawa.
No way.
No.
I mean, no, I don't.
No,
think
I don't think so. Because
the nose doesn't match.
I know that her actress has been in Rider before. She was. This is me being weird and knowing these deep cuts. She was the fucking tennis chick from Kiva.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's what she was in. Like, that's what I was going to say. That's not Ozawa.
Really?
No, she's too tall to be Ozawa. Like,
Although,
for shoot.
fuck, let me actually look this
Yeah,
up because
I'm-
I swear we're both like missing something
Yeah.
she was in. So give me a second to fucking.
She's Time Blyer.
Because, like, one of my buddies, like, he kept on going on to me. He's just like, oh, yeah, no, that's actually Ozawa from, like, Agito. Do you remember her? Yeah, she's, like, Neon's mom.
No, dude, she's Hurricane Pink.
There is no Hurricane Pink. You
Yes,
bitch.
there is. She's in 20 Years After.
What the? Oh, I have a.
Oh, wait.
fucking- there we
Yurumi
go.
Kurama, Ryoko Yui. So, let me see. That was... Yeah, Mami Kurasawa in Kamen Rider Kiva and Yoshie Goto in Kamen Rider Double.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it looks like I was wrong here. So...
See, I didn't
Oh
think it...
no, she was the commander in Gavan versus Deca Ranger.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
That's
okay.
where. That's I think where we're both. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
See,
no,
I remember. See, I thought it was Ozawa at first, but I knew it wasn't her because again, like as a shoot, like not even making a joke, she's way too tall.
Or, like...
Ozawa is a tiny
Well,
woman.
then again, also...
I mean, they do look very similar.
That is
yes.
true. But also,
Oh, yeah.
keep in
Oh,
mind,
yeah.
though, it also has been, like, how many years since Agito? Like, 21
21
years?
years at the
At least a couple, at least two,
Yeah.
at least two.
Yeah, just a few.
But
years.
yeah.
23
But-
now, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, Neon. Why? Look, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't necessarily hate Neon, but I don't think she needed to be around. She didn't have to be here that long. I mean, she got a fucking final form. Like for what? What did she need
The
a
thing
final
is, like,
form for?
I liked her arc at the first hand, where it's like her whole thing is that she's a fucking e-celeb, basically. That's her thing. She's a fucking YouTube streamer who hangs around with enemy of the show, Tom Constantine. I don't want to say it like that, but I saw the opportunity for a joke. I apologize.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Which also, yeah, nice spotlight. Tom Constantine gets a relatively long, not really major, but a relatively consistent role. Him and I forget the other guy's name, but I know he's also like a relatively big name fan, and I liked them. I liked those characters. I wish they kind of got to do more. Her whole thing is like she's a rich kid who's a YouTuber who doesn't really want to be a rich kid because her parents are overly controlling. But her whole thing is that like she just wants like a boyfriend. Like that's her whole thing, is that like she just wants her one true love. And all right, in reality, it's just like I just want my parents to like me, and like I kind of like the whole thing with the mom, where it's like, oh, you just think the mom is your obligatory like rich abusive bitch character, and then you start to learn more. It's like, oh, it's because Neon was kidnapped, and her parents are overprotective because they don't want her hurt again. And obviously, with the whole thing with the DGP going on, they'd go insane if they think, oh, yeah, like the problem too is that like the stuff with the mom never really gets resolved. It kind of just gets put to the side to deal with Neon's daddy issues with her dad, and like her dad being really duplicitous, and like he's working behind the scenes with the DGP, and he's funding them, and he's got all this shady shit going on. He's kind of manipulating the game. To be fair, the dad is infinitely better because her dad is fucking Time Fire, as we've already said.
And he doesn't die.
No, he doesn't.
For the first time, Time Fire does not die.
I was expecting him to die after.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Like he gets a writer form, like a late game writer form, which is like fucking one of the biggest red flags any Toku character can get.
Well,
especially
think about it.
If they are the dad of a hero.
I was gonna say late game writer form. He's a dad. He's Time Fire, and it looks like it's supposed to be made for Neon instead. And he's trying to protect Neon at the same time. I was like, bro, he's dead.
Dude,
he's
yeah,
dead.
he had so many red flags. Like, again, dad of a hero, veteran actor returning, using a power up that we already know is being given to another character. Entire reason for becoming a writer is to protect another character. And the fact that he's Time Fire. So he's got like 5 or 6 fucking red flags going on all at once, and somehow he just survives. Which is crazy.
I mean, honestly, considering everything, the last time we saw him, he got better odds this time. Happy for him.
He does. He did, yeah. But, like, the problem is, like, all the stuff with her family kind of gets, like, the stuff with, like, oh, I want a boyfriend, which kind of gets, never really needed to be resolved, and, like, the stuff with her family just, like, it kind of gets resolved. Like, honestly, her dad becomes more relevant to the plot than she does at a point, and for the most, probably the only reason why she stuck around is because Takahashi made her dad such a vital part of the show. It'd be weird if she wasn't around too.
It's weird to say, but like, well, for one, that obviously, but also another thing that I just didn't like. Honestly, as much as I love Time Fire, the whole bullshit with him loving his daughter at the end after all this, I'm like, Takahashi, you didn't need to redeem him. You could have just shot him in the face. It's fine. Like, I mean, Time Fire doesn't need Time Fire doesn't need to live.
You're right. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily like redemption. It was very much like, okay, so we might as well drop the shoe. The whole like the twist with Neon is that she's a fucking clone. We go full clone saga here. Neon's not real. The reality is that she's a clone of the Kurama's original daughter that was created by the people running the DGP as part of an incentive to have I forget his name, Time Fire to fund the DGP. Why a bunch of fucking time travelers need modern day funding, I don't know. They never really explained.
To be fair, there's like 70 things about the DGP that make no fucking sense.
There's a lot of the rules of the time travel and the game show and all that never really make a whole lot of sense.
They're 4-dimensional beings, motherfucker. What's going on here?
One of them's a talking frog statue. Like one of them's a CG lion who turns.
No,
into,
the frog
flowers
statue was just. The frog statue was just his persona, to be fair.
Anyways.
No, but you are
tangent.
right. But you are right.
Like which the problem is like that also really doesn't add a whole lot. Like that's interesting. I really thought that was an interesting twist, but like the problem is like by the point that comes up, like Neon is so irrelevant as a character. The whole arc with her family hasn't mattered. And, like, it really just feel like, oh, well, here's our way to resolve this storyline by revealing, like, oh, the reason why her family hates her and thinks, she, like, is obsessed with her is because she's a fucking clone. You know, she's the Ben Reilly of Kamen Rider now, except not, well, she gets fucked over as much as Ben Reilly has recently, but I digress.
To be fair, yeah. I mean, to be fair, at least I was going to say Ben Reilly, but I was like, Magical Wish Baby. I mean, can we go Highlander the source here? Can we do that? Can we
I don't want to go Highlander the source.
I think we can reference that. We haven't referenced Highlander in a while, so I'm going with the source here.
You know, yeah, that's right. We did miss the opportunity for a quickening joke earlier, so.
But yeah, so Highlander the source baby, Neon. God, that feels dirty even saying.
It does. It does.
No, but again, it's just weird because she as a character is not bad. It's just there's nothing for her after a while. Like, let's be honest, her story could have ended after the first game, after Kyun, after the fucking time her mom accepted that she was a maybe pod person.
After her
Time
fucking
Fire.
core got broken, and then
After
she
her
just
core
stuck
got
around for 13
Fuck,
episodes
dude.
doing fucking nothing.
Dude, after her core got broken and they kept flashing back to that, I was like, you're a fucking fuck off.
That is the point where Neon becomes completely fucking insufferable, because permit me to have a brief incel moment, but I swear to fucking God, the Reiwa era writers must have just some fucking kind of quota they have to fill with the female writers, because every fucking Reiwa writer has had these female writers who just fucking stick around for absolutely no goddamn reason, way past the point that their characters have any relevance to the plot. Like, 01, also with Takahashi, you had... What the fuck was Valkyrie's real name again?
Yuya.
I forget. Yuya, thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Like, there was that point where, like, she joins Zaya and then spends, like, 20 episodes doing fucking nothing with Thouser, and then she quits and then continues to kind of really do nothing until the end game. And then you have Revice, which Sakura, right?
Yeah.
Was the sister?
Yeah.
Like, she was never really all that important to begin with, but she was never really, like, insufferable with, like, being around. She was still fine when she was around. Like, the problem is that her relevance was really kind of only tangential to Aguilera's relevance with her arc. And once Aguilera's arc was resolved with her joining Weekend and becoming a writer, like, Sakura really didn't have any reason to stick around. And
I mean, so
fucking
did Aguilera.
Aguilera's fucking completely irrelevant once her arc gets resolved too.
I
And
mean,
don't know why
shit,
the fuck.
you fucking skipped Sabala, dude.
Oh my fucking God, I forgot she existed. I was like, no, you know what? No, exactly. I was like, I was going to be like, I was about to say the only Reiwa show that didn't do it yet was Saber, and that's just because they didn't have any female writers. I fucking forgot Sable even existed.
Yeah.
This is not kayfabe. This is not a bit. I legitimately forgot she existed.
Yeah, if you also want to be like super duper technical about it, caliber number 3, 4, 5. What's her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay,
face.
there was her, but
Yeah, she also didn't.
But
do
even then,
anything.
like she didn't become relevant because she was a writer. She was relevant because she was a fucking clone of the pod person.
True.
So you know what I mean? But Jay is right in the saying, like, none of these characters have had any relevance past the fact of the first arc maybe, or the arc they're introduced in, and then after that it's just they're just kind of there and they kind of get wasted. Like,
yeah.
Especially, I think that what really chaps my ass is when, like, they get a final form, like with Revice, like what's Sakura and Revice, or Neon in this show, where it's like, okay, they have a final form, but what does it really mean if they're just jobbing out hardcore anyways? Because
Like, at least with John and
Ben and John
in Revice, yeah, at least that was like a kit bash, so it's like whatever. But like, Fantasy was like a full form with a buckle, and they even had another helmet to go along with it for Time Fire and everything else. Like, that's the problem, is that, like, it wouldn't be so bad if what Neon was doing was at all relevant to anything going on. It's like, I don't fucking care about Neon looking for a goddamn apartment. Like, why the fuck are we spending time watching her house hunting, or going out shopping with Keiwa's sister, or going to fucking prison to talk to Time Fire, or doing any of this shit? None of this matters, and we're wasting all of this goddamn time.
because Takahashi wanted to take a vacation.
Must be. I have no idea. It's insufferable.
Oh, it is. It's even worse because she gets an entire final form just to job out. Like, it doesn't even, like, take an episode for her to lose her final form invincibility. And it's weird. I'm just like, what was the point?
Well,
Like, they literally could have kept her out of the end game and nothing would have changed.
honestly, I think, like, the reason why at this point is, like, or especially with, like, the focus on female writers, I think it's I don't know, you can call it a huncher or something like that, but basically it's more or less, I'm assuming by Bandai and also Toei to probably do more inclusivity considering everything. I I think also mainly because, keep in mind, I don't care about Precure, nor do I really watch it, but I think the latest one, I think they have a male Precure question mark?
They do.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, in that regard, it's like, I feel like, if anything, there's probably more of an agenda here, if anything, just to kind of experiment around with, like, oh yeah, that's female writers, or more of them. And then likewise with, like, I guess Precure in this case, there's apparently a male one, I guess, so. So, like,
we saw well, we saw that at JWH.
yeah, I also remember seeing that cosplayer as well. For the life of me, I just honestly couldn't tell either, frankly. Like, just
That's
in
fair.
terms of the anime,
That's fair.
because, well, frankly, why do I care?
It's Precure. You should
My
be
my
careful.
only experience watching Precure beyond like 2 episodes of the very original, which is like the only good one from what I hear, is seeing like the last 2 minutes of it waiting for Kamen Rider's start. That's about it.
Okay.
So like again, like I wouldn't even necessarily like my rant aside, like I wouldn't necessarily care. I'd be all for it if any of them at all mattered. And I guess that's really up to the writers of the show to make, like, you know, we can blame Takahashi, we can blame whoever the fuck was writing I almost said Revice, Saber, was it Kinoshita? Yeah,
Yeah,
like, we can
Kinoshita
blame
was
Kinoshita
for
for it.
Revice. Yeah, and then
I was gonna say I was gonna do it in order, but I fucking forgot.
yeah,
Saber
Hasegawa.
again.
I mean, more or less Hasegawa for Saber.
Hasegawa, Mori, whoever the hell else they had, I don't even know. Like, I guess we can necessarily blame them, but like, fuck, like none of them like matter at all, and it's particularly insufferable in Geats, where it's just like, again, especially like once we hit the end game, we're at the point where we should be, you know, no fluff. We should, you know, plot. Especially because this is a Takahashi show, when we're already like that anyways. We just get like minute-long scenes of Neon just kind of fucking like putzing around and like thinking about how much her life sucks, and that's it, and none of it gets resolved and none of it leads to anything. And it's like, it's really insufferable in Geats. It's really bad.
You know what? I think, like, in terms of like the way the power-ups should have gone in this case, probably should have been like, let's say Buffa, have him win the first time and then have him get his invincible super duper power, in which he just basically uses an action replay or some shit like that. Probably then have Neon finally resolving her family issues, because to at least give her Wish credit, it's like, oh yeah, she wants to experience just like true love, and that's just like, oh, because I mean, like, theoretically you could assume it's like, oh, it's probably a boyfriend or something like that, but it's like, oh yeah, no, her parents just don't love her, so it's like, huh, that's actually kind of interesting with the wording right there. I'll give it to them, not bad, or like not bad,
But that's
interesting.
But that's what but to be fair, like, to go back to Jay's point,
Yeah.
that could have been like resolved within like even the second
Yeah.
game, if you want to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, like, honestly, that's why it's like, I feel like it should have been like at least early in the game, give her power up, and just like, if at the very least, if you want to bring her back just cuz, or like just, I wouldn't say mainly because the plot needs it, because honestly, at the end of the day, while she was a fine character, I didn't really mind her as much, because she was more or less kind of harmless. I will agree as well, just like, her point in being there was kind of, honestly, a little ham-fisted. A little forced, so.
I think that's fair. I think that's a completely fair point. Yeah, like, if it had been like her arc was resolved, and then even if she's still around, like, she's not as much of a spotlight. Like, if her arc was resolved and she got her power up and everything, and then she's just kind of there, it wouldn't be as bad. But like, I think that the way we do it and the way everything is doled out with the arcs and the different games, it becomes much worse to deal with for me.
It
personally.
becomes like, I know what you're doing, just get it over with, but they don't. and it's
Yeah.
annoying
Yeah.
because it's like there's 100 things in this show that are more interesting than she is, and because of that, it's like, eh. But now we move on to Gimli.
Ben and John.
Gimli.
Oh, Gimli.
Geats has a lot of characters, and yet not that many characters.
Hallelujah win.
Let's read.
Oh yeah, Punk Jack. He
Our
died.
guy, Punk Jack. Yeah,
Our guy.
He was a nice
my
guy.
guy at least.
You can keep him.
He was the laser of this season.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him up there with Laser though.
I mean, they're basically the same character.
They were basically
Yes,
the same.
but not even close though.
You know what? Fine.
I-
Punk Jack doesn't have
you
a
know
cool
what?
red leather jacket.
No. Okay, I say it like this.
He's got the gloves though.
That is true.
I say it like this because, to me, I understand where people are coming from with Laser, but Laser not only was a better character, he was also around longer and played a much bigger integral role in the show, other than I am staff, I die, but hey, I'm Hallelujah win.
But no, honestly, I'm gonna say this: why did they even have them back for like the final arc if he wasn't even gonna transform at all?
Yeah, they just have him, but that's
that
what I'm
pissed
saying.
me
Like,
off.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he, I could definitely see where people were coming from, where like he could have been Laser, but I don't know, man.
I mean, he was like Laser because he was the obligatory Takahashi, I need to resolve the plot character, where he just shows up. He's like, yeah, I know all this shit. I'm gonna tell everybody everything we've needed to know for the last 15 episodes.
And I still don't tell
Bye.
everything.
Yeah, that I really liked Punk Jack. I really enjoyed his arc. I really enjoyed the way, like, because they introduce him as a literal NPC. They introduce him as like, oh, he's just like a blank slate that they have to fill in when they don't have enough writers. You know, he's just a guy. He doesn't have any personality. And then it turns out, oh, he's like this psycho punk rocker dude, and he really, 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 really hates Ace because Ace is a gigantic douche. I really liked their rivalry. It was a really fun rivalry, and again, I think the problem is just like he does just kind of disappear from. It's not even like. Honestly, yeah, like no, Laser does have a better send off because at least Laser's send off like was a send off. Laser fucking died. We saw him disintegrate like it mattered, and Punk Jack just kind of stops showing up off screen until he comes back. It was really weird.
You know what?
It was really weird the way they did that.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. His send off was actually kind of mind blowing.
Fuck off, smart ass.
No, but again, it's strange to see a character come in with so much fanfare, and he, again, like you said, he is the obligatory Takahashi explains the plot character, but then he just doesn't, and that's it. And I'm like, I guess. But that's everything I really have to say about Punk Jack. I mean, he had potential to be really cool, but he never really got there. He could have had the strap, brother, but he didn't get it.
I mean, I really enjoyed it when he was around. He was very charismatic. He had a lot of fun energy to him with the whole punk rocker thing. His backstory was, I mean, it's basic.
Generic.
It's whatever. It was kind of generic.
Well, you know
I mean,
what?
at the end of
You
the
know
day,
what's
it's a Toei, it's a TTFC like special. What are we expecting from that?
Well, I was going
Yeah.
to say, the most interesting part about him that I thought they were going to expand upon is staff being forced to become writers. I thought that was going to become a bigger thing because I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They're getting staff members to help the writers. Now, whether or not they're actually going to help them, don't know. You know what I mean? But I wanted to see how that played out. But no, he was the only one that they did that to. Like, I don't know. That was just weird to me. I'm like, why did you even introduce that? You could have just said he was just some random asshole, and it would have worked. So I don't know.
I think again that kind of ties into the way a lot of the rules and the mechanics of the game don't really ever kind of get concrete explanations.
No, they don't.
They don't work
No,
at all.
not particularly at some points.
But after Punk Jack, we have Jack. I don't know. Who do we even talk about?
We could
the
talk
problem
about
is, like,
Glare.
Which one?
Yes.
There's 3 of them.
Technically,
There were only two.
only two of them.
No, Bebora became Glare.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Forgot
right.
about
She
that.
did.
Well, I mean, technically,
Glare 2, Hyper Glare.
No, there are only 2 different versions of Glare, but 3 different users. Put it that way.
This is
Yes,
true.
that's true.
We got Gimli, who I forgot maybe he died. I don't remember. His character was so superfluous. I didn't even care.
He quite literally gets written out of the show, as in the producers show up and kick him out of the production in universe, which we'll get into that once we start touching on more on like the actual reality
fuck's
of the
sake.
DGP.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Whatever. We'll get to that.
Actually, the thing is, like, Girori's kind of not really too much of a character. They set him as like he's the mysterious game master running the DGP and, you know, coordinating the writers against the Jamato threat. And then then we start to learn the reality of the DGP, and it's like, oh, he's just some schmuck they've got in front of the camera. He doesn't he cares necessarily because he likes humanity and wants to, you know, he wants to protect everybody, but like it's just his job. And then he kind of like becomes really focused on getting Ace killed, and to the point where he's just like, fuck the game, I just want this asshole dead. And that's when they literally write him out because he starts sabotaging the games.
Then you got
He's not really a character. I thought he was fun for a little while as an antagonist, but he's hardly a character.
Although I will say we now have another tick for the Wiseman counter of, if you didn't know this guy was going to be that game master, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
That is
That was so... Well, I could put 2 up there. Him and the fact that the GGP was a fucking TV show. I'm like, bro, come on. That was like telegraphed from day one, I think.
Yeah, it was particularly unsurprising when it turned out the reality of the mysterious Desire Grand Prix was that it's an interdimensional reality show for a bunch of bored rich assholes from the future, maybe, except they're from another dimension also. Again, that was never really entirely clear what the fuck was going on with like how are people watching this? Like, who is the audience? Like
Where are they
the
coming
fuck is-
from?
yeah, like
Are
like,
they all
okay,
time travelers?
They established that there's seasons to the DGP, but like it at this point it's clear that the DGP just seems to be continuous within the specific era. Is it just every season is like a couple of months and it just keeps going and going and going and going and like chronologically, or like, because they kind of imply that like the DGP eventually stops within a specific era and then moves on.
I mean, it's
but
like
then maybe-
every season's a new episode of Total Drama Island. It's like, where are we going
Oh my-
with this?
Fuck off.
Total Gamma Island?
How
I'm surprised.
I
they're making a
expected-
reference like that.
I expected Phil to make that reference, not you.
Oh, Phil's not smart enough to make this reference. You have to have a pretty high IQ to watch.
Phil is smart enough to reference Canadian cartoons, okay?
He'd reference 16.
He would, actually. Gotta think about it.
To be fair, you could have
Phil
also
would.
you could have also referenced Code Lyoko. It wouldn't have worked as well, but you could have.
Oh, hey now. Don't you fucking start talking about Code Lyoko, motherfucker.
I will talk about those.
First and
foreheads.
foremost, okay, no. First and foremost, Code Lyoko is French, not Canadian. Do not fucking get
They're
them mixed up. I will
French-Canadian.
kill you. No, not French Canadian. Full
They're
French.
the same.
Makes it
They're
better.
the same kind of people.
No, they're
Yeah.
different.
No,
they're
they're not.
definitely different.
French and Canadians are the same thing.
Second of all, don't you fucking dare compare Code Lyoko to that slop Canadian garbage show. I will fucking kill you. Anyways,
Total Drama Lyoko.
Anyways. Anywho.
Anyway,
You're saying Chad.
Giori, basically. We've seen him apparently in the Wizard movie. So
Yeah.
we saw him there. It was kind of a given. No, honestly, I think a lot of people were expecting him to go down the route of like Don Kuroto. Especially
I
with
did
his
too.
demeanor, but alas, he got written out actually pretty easily. Didn't come back till the end.
Then we
Yeah.
got Elton John. What was his name?
Chirami.
yes.
Shirami. He was alright.
He did the worm.
He did do the worm quite a lot.
Which is
actually.
impressive, actually.
I vibed with him. I thought he was really entertaining. I thought he was very, very fun. He had it was definitely his personality. It was definitely like he was definitely trying to be a complete mugging jackass for the camera, and to be fair, I think like the way he was self-aware about it definitely worked.
No, I think it's.
I did like that.
I think it's mainly because, like, at that point, it was more or less revealed that the DGP was a reality TV show, and just because of that, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to like lean hard into like just mugging for the camera, and just kind of.
So he tried to be full. Fuck, what's his name from Total Drama Island? David
Enough with Total Drama
Island.
Island.
I can't.
Damn
Now
it.
it's literally stuck in my head now, and I have to think about it.
Anyways, he definitely seems like Takahashi almost being self-aware about the meme characters that he does, where he's very much like the guy. He's very much aware of like, oh, he's on a TV show, so I'm gonna be wacky and entertaining for the audience, and like it's not really his real personality. It definitely does seem like Takahashi is being self-aware that he does like he always makes a shitty joke character. So this time he makes a literal shitty joke character. And to be fair, he actually works. He works more than Thouser's shitty joke character arc or Dan's shitty joke character arc, where I think also because he's not really that much in the focus, he's definitely kind of out of focus for a good majority of episodes. Which I really like that. I did really like that. And he doesn't overstay his welcome either. They use him just enough, and I think that's what keeps him from getting insufferable. Like,
Oh, he definitely could have gotten so much worse.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they take him out fairly quickly, if I'm being honest.
I believe it was the first team up fight with Geats and Buffa.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they take him out pretty quickly, if we're being honest with ourselves. So it's interesting.
if we think about it, he wasn't around for all that long.
Now
But I enjoyed him.
Well, now we have to talk about the third glare.
Well, we can talk about the supporters later.
You mean Gazer or
No, I was fucking with you. And I said
He was talking about Beroba.
I know. I don't wanna talk
Gebura.
about
I said, what did I say? Gebura. What?
Capera Gabera from
Gabra?
Legend of Zelda.
Gabora? The kaiju from Ultraman?
Gamera.
Gamera.
Sure, that would have made this show actually 100% more interesting.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, if one of the supporters is just Gamera.
If Bebra just turned into Gamera, yeah, that would be pretty.
I mean,
big.
she was already a giant fucking CG monster. She might
For
as well.
some reason.
Anyways, last up in terms of Game Masters was well, okay, no, we actually have a couple more beyond him, but we've got Japanese Matt Smith.
Japanese Matt Smith. That's a way.
I mean,
to
am
say
I
it.
wrong?
I mean,
Am
which
I
one
wrong?
are you talking about? The producer?
I'm talking about Niram, yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Honestly,
Kind of.
I'm surprised about how much of a non-character he was too.
To a degree, yeah. It's weird where once he shows up and like actually shows up beyond just like sitting there in his fucking hotel room and watching the show. Once he actually like, shows up proper, he really doesn't do a whole lot after his first couple episodes. Like he shows up and kills Buffa again because Buffa lost and he needs to stay out of the game because something Takahashi being meta. But like after that, he just kind of like stops doing anything important. He definitely does just like he's like, well, okay, I'm just gonna be here now. To be fair, it does kind of coincide when the game starts going off the rails, where the other supporters start stepping in and everything starts to fall apart. Where his relevance as a character also coincidentally falls apart, and it's weird. Like I kind of liked him. He kind of had an interesting thing going on where he's a literal, actual TV producer. That's his role. He's the producer of the show. But then, like, things just kind of happen whether he's there or not. And again, he's kind of a weird semi-non-character. Like, I feel like he was just there so Takahashi could be like, haha, TV jokes, because there's a lot of that in Geats. There's a lot of that of like Takahashi being meta with TV production. Like, again, there's the whole thing about how one of the villains gets written out because the producer doesn't like him. The fact that a TV producer is a literal antagonist of this show. Like, the way, like, characters are forced in or introduced because the producers want them, or they're trying to make changes to the script of the reality of the game and stuff like that. Geats feels like Takahashi was really being, like, passive-aggressive as hell to Toei. With the way the characters are treated and the way, like... Again, the fact that the primary antagonistic force is a literal television show and the producers managing it and fucking with the heroes, by which I mean the writers, and trying to manipulate shit. And like, there are a lot of jokes about like characters needing to stay dead in order for the story to matter, which again very much feels like Takahashi being like, stop making me fucking bring characters back, stop making me fucking bring actors back, stuff like that. It really does feel like a lot of the stuff about the DGP and a lot of the like the mechanics were just for Takahashi to like take the piss. Because there's
100%.
a lot
of
that
it feels
just,
very
like,
passive aggressive.
it doesn't make any sense at all. Like the rules, like at one point relatively early on, they're like, we need to abide by the rules, like the rules of the science of the era that we're in, because we're from the future, but we're also maybe from like another dimension where like humans are basically designer pod people, and like everybody can be whatever. There's no like, nothing matters we're not even post scarcity anymore. We're post like human consciousness to a degree. The rules of like the way the future works and how things end, like how the DGP started, like none of that really gets elaborated on, and to a degree none of it really needs to. But then like we start mixing like magic, where like Ace is Jesus essentially, where he's like he dies but reincarnates forever and ever, and like I guess his wishes stack up, and like
that's how
like his mom has reality warping powers, but maybe it's magic.
Well,
and
the
like
reincarnation-
he's a literal virgin birth. And
Well, the reincarnation.
Well, I mean,
started...
they already explained that Ace is the reason of like a navigator and a player hooking up.
yeah.
Oh, dude, it actually is Highlander the source then.
Oh, fuck off.
Fuck, I'm not even joking. That's actually, oh shit,
Yeah, but the
okay.
whole
It is.
thing about a navigator
I hate this.
The whole thing about a navigator and a contestant basically getting together was shown to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like beyond,
But,
like
yeah.
just in general, like a lot of the rules of like the future people and all that, like to a degree, not all of them really need to be resolved. But there are points where they'll be going on these tangents about like, okay, well, how does this mechanic work? And like, it doesn't really matter.
Sahelanthropus, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But again, to your point, it does kind of stack up where like, I'm not going to sit here and ask how the DGP drivers work, how the Desire drivers work. I'm not going to sit here and ask about that. But at the same time, I have to ask, where does technology and magic like meet here? Because obviously, the navigators, which I think was Mitsume,
Sumer,
right? That was
or
her name?
his mom was like
Mitsu- Mitsume.
Yeah, Mitsume.
Mitsume.
Yeah.
Mitsume.
Like, obviously hers is magic, but the writers are science. But like, where does it end? How did the people from the future even figure this out? Like, why would they even do this? Really? Like,
I mean, well,
it's
okay,
like
they
so many
kind of
different
explain that
ways.
as like, well, we're bored. We're from the future. Nothing matters. It's that kind of like usual of, we are so advanced, we are so above normal people that we use the normal humans as
Guinea pigs.
fodder for entertainment. It's very
but that's what I'm
standard
saying.
there, which I thought that was
Yeah.
very interesting. But
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just weird to me that like we have all of this going on, but like some of these questions I feel do need to be answered in some way, shape, or form. Because my brain, I'm just like, all right, so are you just kind of like throwing like technobabble, but for shits and giggles here, Takahashi? Or
the
is there a
DGP
point to
overall is
this?
very higher concept than Takahashi had space to really work with, I think.
He had 48 episodes, Jay.
Yeah, but
40
this is still a
fucking 8.
children's show, AJ.
Yeah, AJ.
Yeah, but I want my metaphysics.
I do too. Anyways,
I want my existential writer.
like,
But we got Jesus writer.
just more to the point, like, a lot of, like, the rules and mechanics of how the game works and, like, iterations and stuff, like, a lot of these aren't really explained, and at points it feels like it's necessary, and at many points it also feels like it's not necessary, so it's not really, like, a complaint. But then, like, again, like, with, like, fucking time travel exists, maybe, except it kind of doesn't. I don't really know. Like, a lot of these, like, incidental mechanics start. It's that usual, like, rabbit hole problem of, here's this incidental thing that's brought up, and, like, it starts to create bigger holes when you start to think about it, and, like they establish, like, we have to operate by the logic of the era that we're in, which is mostly used as a justification for why they can't just fucking erase people from time and muck with reality and use their super future technology to just like wipe out any obstacles and stuff like that until they.
I mean, shit. To what they were saying, like in their timeline, they can't even fucking die.
Yeah.
Let's also think of it this way as well, in terms of like the rules of the past DGP. Because basically, we've initially gone from Ace explains like, oh yeah, the ancient Romans, whenever they want, they were given a gold coin, and then one day, my mom happened. And then the people from the future noticed her. And then all of a sudden we started getting wishes. So, I mean, to be completely honest, it just kind of went from a 0 to 100 real quickly on a 10 scale. So, I mean, it's like, to be completely honest, I feel like at this point, it's neither here nor there in terms of the rules.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, to be fair, a lot of, like, specific rules of, like, we have to abide by the era really only exists to, like, justify them being able to kill off these future people, which is mostly just used as an excuse to have Niram get fucking shot to death by a Glock, which fucking surprised the hell out of me when that happened.
Dude, just gun.
Just a real fucking gun.
How do you beat Ryder? Gun.
Well, you know what, they gave it a shot, so...
Just a fucking gun.
Oh, fuck. Chad's on a roll tonight.
I know, right? We like look at how we're breaking Jay today. We got Highlander the Source, bad puns, Dodal Gamma Island. You know, it's great. It's great. This is what you come here for. You know what else you come here for?
It's rare for me to be the one who's getting broken.
Well, you know it's funny because you know what else they come here for, Jay?
Rayman?
Magic Mind.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Go for it, Jay. Well, Jay has been drinking a fantastic new drink called Magic Mind. What is Magic Mind? It's the energy supplement you can find online. You have to buy it online.
Yeah, you unfortunately can't really find it anywhere else but their website at the moment. But they're changing that from what I remember hearing. It's really good.
Yeah. But what is Magic Mind but a specific blend of shrooms, vitamins, minerals, and all that good stuff to keep you in the game longer, make you smarter, make you brighter, make you harder.
In one big green tea package, and improves mental conditioning, it improves focus, it improves your energy.
It improves Jay's sponsor reads.
It does not improve your ability to improvise because obviously I am fucking suffering here tonight. It's small little shot. You can down it in a second, and honestly, it's really good. You hear the product read here. It's like, oh, it's one of these organic things. It's got it's mushrooms and like tea and like roots and all this other stuff. But no, it's really good. It's not bitter. It's not too sweet either. It's a nice. I mean. It's great. It's fucking matcha. Like if you've had it, it just tastes like matcha, and that's the best part. Is that you get all the benefits, and you don't get any fucking weird taste other than green tea. That's it. It's there's no reason not to drink it. There's no downsides. And honestly, like I have been drinking it pretty consistently, and it's beyond me bombing on the fucking mic here. It's definitely been improving my alertness in the morning. It's improving my concentration at work, which is definitely needed in my line of work, trust me. It's helped me be able to keep a more consistent schedule with working on videos and doing editing and stuff like that, so I mean, look, the people who know me know my fucking work ethic, and it's definitely helpful. I personally have noticed an improvement in my just overall well-being trying it, and I can't not recommend it enough.
Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Go try Magic Mind. Links in the.
We got a code here in the description for, what was it, like 40% off or something like that? I don't know.
It's 40% off your first purchase of Magic Mind. Kikara!
Wait, what about Gene?
What?
Or cute.
Who?
Gene.
Who?
Zen, as the subs
Who?
like to call him, because that's what Toei fucking translated it as.
Who?
Ace's stalker.
Who? I'm just kidding. Yeah, so Zin, Bean, Alazim.
The supporters were an interesting concept that again raises a lot of questions about the mechanics of the DGP and how everything works. Like, if these four have supporters, like, does that mean everybody has one?
Possibly.
Or is like Japan not important enough to have like a fan to give him stuff? I guess maybe. Like, who knows?
It depends on how.
I mean,
but
yeah,
see, that's
but
the
then,
thing, right? Like,
you have
yeah.
Tycoon, who has his supporter, even though he's only been in like 2 games. So,
but that's the thing, right? Like, to jump off Jay's point, like, the supporter aspect doesn't really make that much sense, because is it just literally like a thing of, oh, someone from the future saw, just throwing it out there, saw Punk Jack and wants to support them? Is that allowed? Can you just be like, I want to do this? Or is there a system? Or what? Like, because originally I thought Time Fire was Neon supporter, but he wasn't. It was Kyun. So I'm like, do you have to be from the future to support? Or do you just have to know about the DGP? Or do you have to put in a certain amount of money for it? Or what? There's questions to be asked about this that I don't think they...
Sorry to cut you off there, Chad. To be fair, like, to a degree, it doesn't necessarily matter. The supporters, they're just fans from the future who start hanging out with the writers because containment breaks and, well, fuck it, we might as well start making our relationships parasocial. You know how it is. You know how it is with celebrities. So.
You know what? At the end of the day, here's my headcanon. The DGP is basically a giant Patreon.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong. Again, it's just weird to me because then you have to get into the idea of, well, what are they actually paying for the writers? Are they actually paying money at all? Or is it like, what? Like, what is, in a way, what is the monetary value of the DGP? Like, again, I know I shouldn't be thinking about this, but when you bring supporters and sponsors and all this stuff into the show itself, it's like, all right, so then what does this mean? Like, what does this really mean? Does it mean that they're actually paying for this? Like, because you can buy, the sponsors can buy items for the writers. So I'm like,
yeah.
Does that mean that there's actually like monetary value being put into the DGP, or is it all just like?
I mean, it's already implied that they need money, they need funds, because considering that's the entire fucking reason both Punk Jack and Time Fire are here is that they need fucking money. I don't know why they need money. They're from the fucking future.
Punk Jack isn't.
I guess, like that's also another, again, like, once we start thinking about the mechanics, it's another, like, and again, to a degree, it doesn't really matter. The supporters as a concept, though, for the story was very interesting. It was the idea of 4 very distinct personalities who, I mean, again, like I said it as a joke, but it's basically a parasocial relationship with their respective writers. You've got Zin, who's the biggest Ace stan on the planet, who basically joins himself to the hip with Ace the second he gets the chance. You have Kekara, who is the captain from Amazons, also Mephisto from Nexus, who is obsessed with making Keiwa into a proper Kamen Rider. That's his whole like thing, is that like he wants a true and proper Kamen Rider to exist. and he has chosen Keiwa as his vessel to get that. You've got Kyun, Neon's supporter, who existed.
I will say though, overall, at least in terms of the sponsors of the supporters, Kyun really didn't need to be there. He really didn't add much in the grand scheme of things.
he's cute.
But then again, that's kind of Neon in general. Like, that's kind of just Neon's whole thing in general with everybody she touches. They didn't really need to be there.
No, not really.
But I guess, whatever. I mean, who else do we got to talk about
Bearba.
now? I guess the last... Oh, we already talked about her. She's a bitch.
That's true.
She kind of is. Another Takahashi hallmark of why the fuck is this villain still here? Because she just won't fucking die. She just never goes away.
The fact that she came back was ridiculous.
Oh my fucking god. Don't remind. She's coming back for the fucking V Cinema too. God, like fucking
Wait, does the V Cinema take place
insufferable
during
after a
the
point.
DGP or after the DGP?
It's after the show. Unless there's like time travel, I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, to be completely
It's
honest, at this
it's
point,
during
with
the
V-cinemas,
possible DGP.
Anything goes with the V cinemas, man. Just like
That's true.
Yeah.
That is always
time
true.
travel, someone's gonna die, or someone's gonna be brought back to life, something's gonna be retconned.
And then
And
die.
then, yeah, I mean, basically, that's basically just what happens in like the post-season V cinemas. So.
Yeah, but no. Really, yeah. Who else is there? There's fucking like. There.
Oh, there's Sasuke, and then there's also Sueru.
There is. There's the. I forget his name. The gardener dude, who's we didn't really talk about the villains, the Jamato, because they're not really villains. They're just kind of monsters.
They're
They're the Cybermen.
They're the Inves without the
Without the crippling horror of human mutation.
Well, I was gonna say I couldn't fucking remember what were the leaders' names again.
Oh, the Overlords.
Overlords?
Oh, the Overlords. That's right. I was like, I want to say it's like the Overlords, and like no, that was Agito.
No, those
they're
are just
just called
lords.
lords.
That's right. Yeah, they're basically the Inves without the Overlords. They're former contestants ground up and turned into monster people. Which again, coin in the jar if you didn't fucking guess that from episode 1.
Well, see, it's not just that. Well, it's weird to say because then, what is Daichi making them out of at the end?
Well, okay, like here's the thing.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
okay, again, I'm not even trying to poke holes. It's just these things are just things that pop into my mind when
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, they're supposed to be the dead riders, but there are no more dead riders.
Yeah, see,
What is he making them out
Well,
of?
he
Here's the
probably
thing,
reuses them.
like the thing that we do here on this podcast is that we review the series once it's over. Well, as you can clearly see. But the thing is, with that kind of revelation, apparently, I believe that was something they explore either in the summer movie or also the V cinema, maybe both. I think, but
I know they're planning on talking about it in the V Cinema,
Yeah.
but who
The
knows?
G cinema. Anyways, again, it's weird. It's really weird because, like, I know these things don't matter, but my brain can't stop thinking, okay, but why though?
But
Yeah.
why?
But again, I mean, there's not really anybody else to talk about. I mean, like, there's what's his name, Jito.
well,
Sasuke,
yeah, Jito.
Sasuke.
Jito.
I mean, I will say, for like half a second, I thought I knew him from somewhere.
Yeah, he actually played stage show Sasuke.
yeah, that's why we keep calling him Sasuke.
No,
AJ.
outside of that,
He's been in a couple of things.
Well, let me take a look though.
it's weird, but like his face, he looks like he would be a face model for Yakuza.
I mean, he's
I know that's
basically
really-
dressed
Why
like,
is-
and acts like a Yakuza
why does he
character.
remind
with
me
the
of a
He
big
does,
Teen
honestly
Baron
though,
member.
he's probably my favorite game master just because of that.
I mean, there was a the original gardener for the Jamato, he was fucking entertaining as hell. He was funny. He was always hilarious. He was just a fucking weirdo.
Then he got nommed on.
He did.
He did.
There's Daichi, who has no fucking reason to exist.
He's just Brain Junior.
Literally, like remember when Daichi fucking came back and became the Joker for all of like 10 seconds?
Yeah, what was that?
What the fuck was up with that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, what?
You know, it had to happen to someone at some point.
And it all went up a
remember
cycle.
how he became a Jamato and then they just kind of fucking forgot about that? And it's not like he stopped being one. He's still one at like the last episode. They just kind of like forgot. To be fair, they also forgot that he was evil and fucking murdered Keiwa's sister.
Yep.
And I don't like. I'm pretty. No, yeah, she did.
Did we talk about
did
Sarah?
I mean,
She's
What's
not
there
even
to
a
talk
character.
about?
I mean, at this point, like, to be completely honest, the only things you can say about her is just like, oh yeah, the what ifs in this case. But honestly, she was quirky older sister character that was played by actual older sister of Oni's sister.
That's true.
There
I
you
did
go.
notice the resemblance now that you put that.
But no,
Like,
but
yeah,
to go back to what you're
I'll
saying,
give her
like,
points. I'm surprised she stayed alive as a writer as long as she did.
I was gonna say to go back to what you were saying, like, again, like he was a tomato for a bit, and then they forgot about it.
Yeah.
But he
And
was
then
still a
again,
tomato.
as is tradition with Takahashi, he just kind of stops being a villain, even though he never like does anything to redeem himself.
Unironically, I thought at the end Keiwa was just gonna chop his fucking head off.
I am surprised that he didn't die.
I don't
like,
think Keiwa forgot about that.
like there was the point where fucking I think it was like Ace stops Keiwa from trying to murder him. Like, why? Out of
What
all
is the
fucking
point?
people, why Ace?
Maybe
trying to
Buffa.
stop him?
Like maybe Buffa stops him, but Ace is like, what does Ace have to
Buffa,
do with
at
this?
least it would have been like thematic. It was like, I've gone down this road you're trying to go down. It's not worth it. Like why the fuck is Ace trying to stop this fucking shit heel
Like,
from getting murdered?
Like, honestly, the thing that really bothered me was like before what you call it, Kayla's fight with Keikera, where they were like talking about, it's like, oh yeah, well, you know what, everyone can be redeemed. It's just like, yeah, but also like I get like they're trying to do like a redemption arc for Daichi with Keiwa, but also at the same time, that was so forced.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It was. It's like, it's not even like with like, again, it's not even like with Dan, where Dan never really redeemed himself, but just kind of joined the good guys, where they still fucking treated him like a criminal. Like, no, you're insane. We're gonna keep you in gay baby jail unless we need you. Or like with, it's, honestly, I would say it's almost as bad as Thouser, where like Thouser just kind of like gets away with everything.
Because
Other
he
than the
loves
fact that,
hiding
like,
tech.
He loses
Honestly?
his, like, yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like, no, actually Thouser at least got some kind of comeuppance where he lost Zaya and he lost everything that he had, and he's basically a fucking homeless weirdo with his robot dogs in a warehouse apartment.
I mean, dude, if you think about it, Thouser and Daichi had the exact same ending.
They did. They literally did.
Like they get surrounded by like the mascots for no reason.
Yeah,
But yeah.
What the fuck was up with that? There's Swale, who is
Non-character.
not even really a character.
Well, he is voiced by Kirito.
He is. He's also so isn't the glare gazer whatever the fuck driver.
Yeah,
So-
I think
But
the
it's-
Zillion driver, or like, did he call the Kamen Rider Regard or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zillion and Vision, but like it's
all,
weird.
yeah, all the game master drivers were him.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's weird because like Swell was very much the. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to say it this way because Takahashi hasn't done it up to this point. But like he's just, he's the final boss. Who is he?
He doesn't have
He's
he doesn't have
just some
personality,
guy.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have
He's-
a face. He just is there.
No, he has a face. It was Ace.
It was Ace.
Nani?
Yeah, remember? You remember Ace took off he took off the mask and there was Ace under there.
So he's Dai Shocker?
After Ace Shang Tsung'd his ass. Does anybody remember this?
Yes.
No, I'm pretty sure.
He literally did that Shang Tsung fatality, and I was like, what the fuck?
Anyways.
After Ace got resurrected, after the 7th day, Ace rose again.
Ace,
On the 3rd day, sorry.
Ace with us.
Like, I liked. We didn't really talk about Sumari at all either. I liked her. I did like her a lot.
She was cool. She shot Ace in the face.
She did.
Which is the funniest shit because I did not expect that to happen. I was like, oh, at the last second she's going to turn and shoot Swell or something. No, she just full on pops a cap in his fucking brain. Like, what the fuck? Holy shit.
I'll give Takahashi this, as forced as it was, at least, like, the obligatory let's put the cryptic thing from the opening into the show scene actually mattered in this season. They've been doing this shit since, like, what?
Drive.
Drive?
Yeah, that's when it started, Drive.
And this is the only time that it's ever actually been relevant to the
Not
plot.
really, Jay. They did it in Exade.
No, they did
Yeah, they
in
did.
Exade,
Yeah,
but
they did.
the fucking nighttime shot didn't fucking matter at all.
Yeah, it did. It was at night.
Fuck off.
Shut
up.
We can also say we saw the opening night scene in the beginning of season 2.
We did.
So that's neither here nor there. But anyways,
That's true.
in terms of Tsuri, though, you know what? I'm also happy that they didn't do the Takahashi thing of, like, oh yeah, like they make her a female writer too.
Yeah,
I'm glad they
she
resisted
become
that.
a writer.
She just had white hair. That was
For a
about it.
little, yeah, for a little bit.
And then she got better.
But
How?
so did Ace, so.
But how?
I mean, they explained that. It's with the way the fucking supporter powers work, where she lost
Oh, but
it.
because he wanted to.
Yeah.
I will say that I'll give Takahashi points. He put 2 things from the opening in there.
He did.
He I'll give him points for that. He did the barbed wire thing.
That's right. He did.
Yeah,
do
but
that.
without the white
Oh,
hair.
you Takahashi, you little fucking piece of shit.
You little scamp.
Anyways, that's everybody. Like, there's literally nobody else unless you want us to talk about the fucking owl dude.
Owl.
Like
The old guy. The old guy
Yeah.
was pretty
The old
fun.
guy was pretty
He
cool.
died. He died.
Well, no, he came back for the movie.
Fuck you. What?
You know what?
Who fucking cares?
We could talk about the best writers of this season, Ben and John, played by Mr. Tom Constantine and Michael Kinder.
Yeah,
we did
Tom
briefly
Constantine.
talk about them.
Tom Constantine taking a break from shitting on Jay.
One of these days, this is gonna get us in trouble.
Really?
It really will, but
He
I don't
shits on
care.
you?
It's gonna be worth it. You know what? You know what? I am disappointed we never actually got to see them transform, because they were writers. We never actually see them do anything, but they were writers.
I will say, what's Ben and John was their name, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one was Ben?
Ben was Michael Kinder, or pretty much Kamen Rider.
The
Master.
black guy.
Yeah, I was trying to.
He was the like I'm just gonna call it a spade and answer.
I will
AJ's
say,
not-
look,
AJ's
I'm
not gonna know anything beyond that if you explain it.
That's-
so. Like
I was
I
just-
would know, Chad, and I appreciate you explaining, but AJ's not gonna.
That's
know.
fair.
I would know. I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I was just gonna say his transformation pose was lame as fuck.
What?
That's
What?
just
Michael
me.
Jackson posing?
Yeah, I don't care. That was lame. That was lame.
It was cool. Fuck you.
No, it was lame.
It
It
was
was
cool.
actually kind of cool.
No,
It
no,
was a
it was
little
not. It was
cool.
lame
It was
as
cool.
fuck. It was lame
Die.
as fuck.
Die.
It would be the same if you did it. It's lame.
Die.
It's on the same level if you did it, Jay. And
Die.
you're as white as Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's a bad one.
Oh, I'm bad. I'm bad.
You know, I'm really bad.
Shit.
Oh,
That was a real
fuck-
thriller there.
Oh,
Just beat it.
that's gonna go down in history.
You
Oh,
could say I was a real smooth criminal.
Damn it,
with
you
that
took
joke.
mine.
Guys, I
Oh.
need you guys to go reevaluate yourselves, reevaluate your lives, and look at the man in the mirror.
oh, God,
Uh,
damn it. Anyways, now on to the ending. Ace is Jesus again.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to say again because it's happened a couple times apparently.
Well, I mean,
He's just Jesus now.
I made the joke about Ace turning on SV Cheats 1 earlier, but that's literally how the show ends. Is Swale basically what happens is Ace is so thoroughly BTFO the DGP management that they just decide rocks fall, everybody dies. It's the time for the apocalypse. We're wiping out society. We're gonna destroy the world, and we're just gonna move on to the next era. Which again, how any of that fucking works with the DGP and time travel or whatever, who cares? Doesn't matter.
I care.
The longest fucking apocalypse in history, by the way, because they say they're gonna do it like episode 32, and they have to go through it for like ages to even get anywhere close to it.
There's the Jamato game. There's the end game. There's the end game.
Well, no, because
the
the
apocalypse
Jamato
game.
Grand Prix was different from them trying to nuke reality.
There's the bad end game. There's the bad ending game. There's the ending game.
Apocalypse Riders and like
There was Revelations. Like, who fucking cares? There was like 70 versions of the apocalypse, and none of them came to fruition.
I mean, to be fair, the writers did keep continuously thrashing their asses, so they kind of had.
How do you stop the apocalypse so many times and just think, you know what? Maybe this time it'll work.
Like, to be fair, it is funny how their solution to finally trying to get the apocalypse on track was to just fucking shoot Jesus in the face.
You know what? There's some biblical allegories here going on.
There is. I guess you could frame that very interestingly.
Would Sumari be Judas then?
I guess so.
No, she would be Pius, the guy who sent Jesus to the cross. This is theology 101 right now. I swear to God.
Anyways.
I don't know where this is getting more theological than fucking Agito, and Agito had actual God in it.
Anyways, so after numerous times of Ace and the gang completely thrashing their asses, Swale just decides, let's just fucking shoot him. The one thing nobody ever thinks about is let's just shoot the main character in the face with a gun. Let's just get a gun and kill him.
He saw what happened to Niram, and he was just like, why didn't I do that?
Wait, no.
That is true.
Wait, isn't that what basically that they did to Niram anyways? Or wasn't that his support?
Yeah, they shot him.
Yes.
They shot him.
Like Niram was becoming a problem because he was like, I'm breaking away from the game. I'm on the side of the writers. I'm gonna help them.
Oh,
stop.
Niram, are you about to have a face turn? Not.
Yeah, he starts to have a face turn, and then they just shoot him with a Glock.
You know what? If Takahashi ended all of his shows like that, I would love him.
I mean, to be fair, Zero
Imagine
One
if
also
Zero-
had people getting shot with a real
Nah,
gun.
could you imagine if like, what's this, Haruto? I don't know.
Haruto.
Wrong season, but I mean, to be honest, I watched
No. That's even better. If Wizard ended with just shooting Wiseman in the fucking face.
That is kind of what happened to Weissman.
I mean, no, wasn't it Gremlin that shot him in the
No,
face?
Gremlin
think
stabbed
so.
him.
No.
Gremlin stabbed him right through the gut with his own weapon.
Who fucking cares? Anyways, Jesus is back.
Who cares? Yeah. So. God damn it. So after numerous times of Ace continuously thrashing their asses and completely destroying their plans with more and more ass pulls as he does, Swell and the DGP gang just decide, let's just fucking shoot him. And I feel like I missed an episode maybe because there's some weird shit like Sumari gets possessed.
No, you didn't miss anything.
There's a lot of shit the usual Takahashi problems of shit starts piling up ridiculously in the final arc. Like Berbera and Kekara like get super rider monster forms, and they're kind of working with the DGP, but they're kind of not really. And like you get the new game master Sasuke, who honestly is kind of a bitch. Like he was interesting up until he got his rider form, and then he immediately becomes a jobber. Like you get the thing with the Apocalypse game with the rider gangs, and then you get the stuff with like Jamato evolving and like people like being mutated into Jamato and like, oh, there's new phases to them, and you know, if they die like this, their human host dies, and like,
They die
like
in the game, they die
that's
in
what
real life.
Spurs punished Keiwa is that, but Buffa accidentally kills his sister, and to be fair, it's not even like there's a misunderstandings with it. It's just like Buffa's just like, yeah, I'm sorry, dude, I didn't know, like. I didn't know there was this fucked up rules to the monsters. I'm just killing the monsters.
You
Like,
know what though?
I feel
commend
like
him.
because he starts having like the Metal Gear Solid 3 sorrow moment where like he starts seeing the ghosts of all the people that he's killed,
Well, I mean,
which was really fucking cool. By
no,
the way.
hold on.
It
Hold on.
was.
Michi also does a Michi here. He starts.
He does.
I mean, to be completely honest, Mitsuzane Kureshima started seeing the ghost of his dearly departed older brother while trying to fight people.
I will
Who
say
wasn't
this though.
actually dead, but let's not get
No,
into that.
I will say this though. I commend Takahashi for being just straight up and making Buffa just be like, yeah, I killed her.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I liked that they don't actually do a misunderstandings plot. Like, they set it up as a misunderstandings plot, but it's like, no, Buffa's just like, yeah, I fucked up, dude. I didn't, like, circumstances were beyond my control. I'm sorry. I would have done something if I could.
It was a really realistic way of handling that, where like Buffa's just like you said, it's like, dude, I'm sorry. Fuck.
He's like, I feel as bad as you do, dude. Like, I really liked that. That was a really interesting way to do it. But
It really cut him up inside, like a sister.
But yeah, the usual Takahashi problem of like the last 10 episodes just have so much fucking shit get thrown into it. But we don't even have time to really get into all of the fucking stuff that gets thrown in. I think we've talked about enough of it.
If we did, we'd be here for like 7 more hours.
Anyways, what happens is they shoot Ace in the fucking face and kill him, and he dies. And there's no like twist to it, really. There's no like, oh, haha, Sumari missed at the last second. Or
He
like,
caught
was
it with
just
his
pretending.
teeth like Heihachi.
Like, yeah, there's no like Ace just gets back up. He's like, no, he's fucking dead. He's just like, yeah, he's like, I mean, Ace is still Ace. He was still planning for getting shot in the fucking face because
Of course he would be.
he just becomes God. He just very casually becomes a god.
I do like
Somehow.
his little conversation with Sumari. He's just like, yeah, I'm dead, but I'm just Jesus now. So
He's just like, yeah,
see ya."
don't worry. I was like, yeah, I was planning ahead
And
for
then
this.
they
Don't worry.
asked
Even
him, like, are
even
you
though,
dead?
like,
He's like, in
it
a
doesn't really
sense.
make any sense because like even Swell is just like, well, he'll reincarnate soon, but it's gonna be too late by that point. Haha, bye. But then he just like, I guess decides that he's not gonna reincarnate this time. And, like, it's something to like the wish he made with his mom or something. Like, I don't know. He really. It's very casual the way Ace is just like, I've become God.
He's just God now.
He very casually is just like, I am God now.
God
and then the
is
kill
I.
swale and the DGP collapses in on itself, and Ace resets the world where everybody gets all the wishes that they want as long as they believe in them, but also nobody remembers Ace ever existed, which, okay, fair enough trade-off.
It'll be changed in the movie. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, we already know he's fucking coming back in the movie somehow, maybe, unless
But
there's like...
well, I mean, there's no maybe. He's God, so he'd just be like, I'm here now.
I mean, like, no, we see fucking white hair Ace in the trailer, and he's got a gold painted fucking Geats 9. So unless that's like Swell who's come back as Ace, because again, like you said, he does the Shang Tsung thing where he fuses with Swell to kill him, which is
Well,
fucking
actually, wait,
weird.
hold on. We didn't even talk about fucking Anti-Ace. Dark Geats. What the
That's
fuck
the
happened there?
movie.
Where did he come from?
That was just for the movie.
I know, but still, why is he here?
We don't
That's
know.
It was to make you go and watch the movie, AJ.
Why
That's
would
why he was
Takahashi
here.
do this to me? I remember when he came out in the fucking in the episode, and I was like, "Oh fuck, how is Takahashi gonna write this in?"
Yeah, that's for us to go watch the movie and then get all the promotional items and prep. So, in this case,
To be fair, Dark Geats would have been a way more interesting final boss than Swale because he was a fucking non-character. Even But yeah,
Fucking Dark Geats and Rainbow Bright.
I really did like that final episode. It was very, very Kuga-esque with the way it's just like, oh, well, the final fight, yeah, don't worry about it. Everybody's kind of living their life again. Even though they do end up cutting back to the final fight, but whatever. As an ending, it was interesting. I think the way they resolve it yeah, I'm dead and I'm gone and nobody remembers me, but I'm still here was a very interesting route to go for an ending for the show.
Yeah.
They kind of imply that the DGP is. I mean, they don't really imply. Like, Zin is straight up just like, I'm gonna make a new DGP. Do you want to help me? It's like, don't worry, it's gonna be a good one. Where there's no stakes or anything. It's just for funs. Haha. I promise.
I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't be that hard. It would just be like a fucking Ninja Warrior or fucking Takeshi's Castle or some shit.
Well, I mean,
Could you imagine MXC with riders, dude? Holy fuck, that'd be amazing.
well, there was that episode with Ultraman, so.
Oh, I'm just saying, DGP, but actually is MXC. That'd be so fucking based.
That would be a very interesting.
When's the episode with Tony Hawk?
Soon. But no, it's a very interesting ending. The way they do it is that, like, you don't really need magic, you don't really need wishes. As long as you believe in your goals, you can achieve your goals. And I liked that as an ending. It was very, very nice way to tie everything up, tie the themes and everything up at the end, and it felt very closed off. Other than the fucking mounting pile of questions about the deep lore and everything, I think in terms of all the plot lines of the characters and where they ended up, I think as an ending it does tie everything up fairly well. I think it was a good final episode.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for them to fucking ruin it in the V cinemas.
I mean, to be fair,
let's
that's
just
what
go
happened
this
with
way.
Revise.
The Winter crossover movie is probably going to undo a majority of it, and then from there, the V Cinema is just going to build off of that.
Probably.
I mean, again, that's what happened with Revise.
Well, no, at least with Revise,
Yeah.
like the thing with the summer movie, no, the winter movie, is that they at least kept Vice dead. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Vice die. Anyways, miscellaneous things about the show before we get into our final thoughts. I liked all the suits.
I will
pretty
say
much.
this: I am surprised Takahashi restrained himself from tying in outsiders to this.
It would have been so based if he did, though.
It would have been.
I mean, considering that the series just ended and the most recent episode of Outsiders, they friggin' wrote in George Karizaki. So I mean,
They
to be
did.
completely honest, let's be real. Revise is coming, or no, Geats is coming, or something from the DGP is coming, probably.
It's gonna be.
I mean more like
it's gonna be
overtly
Dapan.
in the show itself.
Oh.
Like I was expecting like the show to end on like a lingering shot of somebody's ID core, and then like fucking the end or Foundation X shows up,
It's no, it's
picks
just-
it
Oh,
up
yeah.
or something.
Oh yeah, wait. Remember the crackpot theories of actual game master of DGP? Yeah.
It was gonna
Yes,
be Don.
there were so
We all
many.
thought it was gonna. At some point, everyone thought it was gonna be Don Kuroto. Just thinking like it's just another game he made.
That would have been so based too, to be honest.
It would have been pretty cool. I don't lie. As like a one-off gag, it would have been pretty fun.
But again,
If
back
they
to,
did it unironically for an entire season, I think it would have been insufferable though.
but I was saying the miscellaneous things before we wrap up here. I liked most of the suits.
Oh yeah, they were really
They were pretty
good.
cool. They were very interesting, I will say. Interestingly put together
Well, I mean,
in terms
I
of
think
design philosophy.
I think also coming from like a marketing standpoint, like it's actually very interesting because while certain forms were marketed towards certain riders, like honestly, it's an idea in which like there weren't any super specific power ups marketed towards one rider that like basically you can use. Like basically, it's interchangeable between all of them, which is actually
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, Boost itself was being used by pretty much everybody. Like, I mean, shit. I think Buffa started using it more than Geats himself.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I liked the modular nature of the suits, the way that everybody kind of had their own parts and the interchangeability.
Yeah, that was cool.
And yeah, like despite it being like his form, he only really uses Magnum Boost like 4 or 5 times in the entire show, I think.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting that they went with that.
Yeah. I think it's again to emphasize the like the reality show nature of like there are so many people always competing and there's so many different riders in the DGP, and I kind of wish they took a little more advantage of it with having more helmets to use to have a wider cast, even if like they were like fucking no-name NPCs who just show up to die. I think if they had more of those, it would have felt a little livelier, but I understand, budget, adult circumstances and all. But I liked that with the way the suits were. It was very unique. And yeah, like you were saying, the way that other than like the late stage power-ups for Geats himself, none of the forms were really marketed to anybody in specific, and none of them were really locked to be used by anybody specific. It was all very... It's not really something that writers done before, because even in like the earlier shows where they started doing this kind of interchangeable form stuff, they never really were like this. I think it was really interesting the way they did it.
Yeah, like for example, like when you look something like Gaim, right?
Yeah.
With every that should have been like instantly interchangeable, but no, I mean Kota stuck with Ichigo and Pineapple and all that stuff, and like with this, it's like everybody is allowed to use everybody. Like I think again, even besides the final forms, like I mean shit, fucking Bujin started mixing it up after a while too. It was
He
weird.
did. And I think the problem is, like, I think the suits were definitely made more in mind. Because, like, if you look at, like, the Gaim suits, they kind of were with the way the gimmick was, but the suits and the armors were very much specifically made to be used by that rider. Like Banana was not really meant to be used by anybody else, because you can see the way the coloring is, and, like, same thing for, like, Grape and all these other ones. Like, when they start swapping around, like, you can tell this was not meant to be, like the one time they had Zangetsu use Strawberry, even though there was like a fucking hyper battle video. Like you look at it, like yeah, this is very clearly not meant to be used on this suit. It's like it's very not meant for this.
Or like
Yeah.
So I
also like appreciates the early series explanation. It's just like, oh yeah, like theoretically anyone can use like the raised buckles, but like only certain ID cores and like certain raised buckles have like a high, I guess, compatibility, and then in which at the end of the day you find out, oh yeah, no, that's actually just total BS.
Well, I kinda
an
like that.
affinity bonus basically is like you've got a special buckle that goes specifically well with your form, kind of thing like
That
that.
I do like, and it explains why they only use certain, why each one uses a certain one instead of it just becoming their trademark.
Yeah, and I think that was an interesting way to explain the way like they kind of get affixed to one specific form for budget reasons. So
I also really liked not the OST so much. I mean the OST was fine, but all the songs that came out of Geats were really fucking interesting. But yeah, fucking Trust Last is a great opening song. It's amazing. You go fuck, it's great.
yeah, I Trust Last enjoyer here. I liked it before everybody else liked it.
No, you didn't. I liked
Trust
it first.
Last, honestly, it took a while for me to just kind of grow into it.
I fucking loved it from day one, Jay. What are you talking about?
Day one when you started the show 3 weeks ago.
No, when the opening came out.
Yeah. I'm AJ. I definitely was. I definitely.
Jay doesn't want to. Jay doesn't want to understand the fact that people can like things before he does.
No, nobody
It's fine.
could like thing until if I don't like it, nobody likes it. If I like it, I liked it first.
Okay, so
Exactly. You're finally understanding the Portland way.
So aside from all y'all's opinions, though, honestly, I'm just really happy that we all started to get like insert songs released as the series was going.
I was
Yeah.
I was shocked that a lot of the songs that were released on CD did not show up in the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ones for Buffa, the ones for Nago, Tycoon. None of those showed up in the show except for Geats 9 and Bujin, which was I mean, obviously, there was that one for Zine, but fucking cares. Whatever. I don't even know why he got one, but fucking Buffa didn't. Like, that's lame.
Because his actor is famous, that's why.
Also, didn't Buffa also have another insert theme, but they didn't put it in the show? Actually, no.
So.
Fucking.
Oh, wait, no, there were two of them
Geezer.
because the first one was his own character song sung by him, and then there was another one that was like basically like a 3 or 4 way song with like what was it, Nudge Sparrow or Daichi, Beroba, and also the weird Jamato guy.
No, I was talking about Niram also had one too released, which is weird.
Yeah, that one.
He did get a fucking theme for some
It was
reason.
just kind of an okay theme, honestly.
But yeah,
I really did enjoy. We got it's been a while since we've had this many kind of songs, and the fact that a lot of them actually got used was interesting. I mean, they should have used more, I think, but the ones that they did end up using were just that good. So I think it kind of balances out. Like, I mean, they got fucking back on to do a song, 2 songs even. So, I mean, you don't need anything more than that.
And then whatchamacallit, I'm surprised that they didn't use Shonan no Kaze all that much as well. I mean, like, aside from the opening theme and like the movie ending theme, that's like,
they can't afford them.
oh, that's fair. But I mean, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with you. They've kind of done that more frequently with Rider too, where like they'll get this band to do the opening and then they don't really do anything else with it. Like they did that a lot with like Phase 2 Heisei. Like, obviously you had Drive where you had Matsuoka do like 5 fucking songs. That's because it's Matsuoka.
well, then again,
You had that.
Matsuoka also has like an
with,
apartment on the Toei lot. Let's be real.
He probably does. Toei has a little apartment complex where all like the regulars just kind of live. They might as well at this point.
Shinken Red 2 is just there.
But like,
Okay, go
I'm
for
trying
it.
to think like. No, I think most of Heisei up until the end of Heisei, from like Drive up until then, they had the people that sing the opening be more heavily involved music wise, and after that they just kind of like, we got the opening and fucking whatever, go away.
Because
But I think also like, if you look at who's done the Reiwa themes, you've got TMR, you've got whoever the fuck did
Alexandros.
yeah,
Sabers.
Alexandros, and then you had Dice with Kimura Subaru.
Dice, yeah. And then you have again Shonan Okaze and whatever the fuck. her
Kumi
name was
Koda.
for-
She's actually a very popular artist in Japan.
Yeah, so like that was my end point,
Yeah.
is that so far Reiwa's had very popular, very big musicians doing the openings, and especially with next year where we got back on doing Gotchards, where I think that's kind of been their gamble, is that they've been doing bigger, more higher profile musicians for the openings, and I think that's why they're not having them be more relevant.
Yeah. I mean, shit, back on did an insert, so fuck it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Let's be real. That was probably part of their contract.
Yeah,
I think everybody's made that joke, and
we
I
made
wouldn't
that
be
joke in
surprised if
LA.
it was true.
But saying that, I think now it's just time for our final thoughts. I think we've gone through everything.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with Phil.
Oh, well, I thought the series was, I thought it was really damn good.
Anyways,
Shut up! Shut up, let me finish.
how to do
No,
it.
you didn't. You just chose to.
Yes, I did.
Go on, Phil.
I thought the series was pretty damn enjoyable. I watched it throughout the entire year, and it was quite possibly one of the best that I've seen in a while. And this is considering that this is the 4th of Reiwa. Yeah, this was actually pretty damn good. I like the characters, I like the suits, I like the story, I like the basically everything. I basically liked everything about it. It's a good show. Watch it.
Chad.
So in terms of Geats, honestly, the more I thought about this, I think this is actually probably the strongest entry within Reiwa so far. Then again, I think considering a lot of things, just I guess from like a promotion kind of or promotion side as well. from the beginning of Geats, or like I guess during its like inception as it was being announced, it kind of feels like Toei was definitely putting in their A game, especially like considering that they got what's his face? Oh my gosh, I'm like Takahashi, and also who was producing Geats? Was it I think Tasaki, I think, or Yuta Tasaki, I think?
It was
No,
Gaim's producer.
Tasaki was direct. No, he is a director. I don't
Yeah.
think he did.
Or let me see the producer.
No, it was Gaim's producer.
Oh wait, producers Takebe and Inoue.
Yeah.
So pretty much
Yeah, yeah.
like considering that, and also getting like Toshihiko Sahashi, basically the one that's kind of responsible for Double's OST. Or wait, no, that's Shuhei Naruse. But Den-O's OST mainly, and I guess Geo, but I mean it's more Den-O than Geo, frankly. Like it feels like Toei really wanted to put out like their A game here, and I kind of feel like this might have been, or considering the themes of the show and everything that they wanted to do, it kind of feels like it was maybe, dare I say, maybe wanted to be marketed towards like another audience, mainly overseas, considering that there was a lot of influence coming from like Squid Games, Fortnite, and like other places. And in terms of overseas distribution, I have no idea. So frankly, that's neither here nor there. It's all speculation. But I think overall with this season though, I think it's definitely the best of Reiwa. I think overall this is just a very solid Kamen Rider season that I think if people do want to get into Kamen Rider, I think this would also be a season in which you can probably recommend to people that just want to start it, just due to the very uncanny nature of the storytelling and also the themes that are not typically found within like Kamen Rider nowadays. But I think overall it's a good show, and I would definitely recommend it if you're trying to just look for something or like to get into Kamen Rider with. So that's it's been me.
Yeah, so I would definitely echo Chad's sentiment of saying this is the best of the Reiwa era so far. Granted, not the highest bar to clear, let's be real. But I think looking at overall, it's also definitely Takahashi's best show, although at the same time it does fall the hardest out of his shows. Comparing to the previous Reiwa shows, especially comparing to its immediate predecessor, Redevice, I think Geats had bigger highs and a more consistent, strong pull throughout most of the show, but also fell off harder, really hard near the end, worse than I think Takahashi's other shows, where, like, you look at X-Aid. X-Aid was clearly him getting burned out and the shorter episode count. 01 was obviously COVID. This, I think, was just Takahashi just had too many fucking ideas. I think this is something where this is a story he was stuck with the constraints of Rider as a franchise, that he didn't have the space he really needed, and he went a little too far. But
Yeah.
I would agree. I think this is definitely a good launching off point for Rider. I think just in the way, the general themes, the way it's presented. It's weird though, like, it's also been one of the more divisive seasons, like, especially when the last 10 episodes, where I think once the Takahashi cycle starts to kick in and we start to get to that end game where it's just like there's too much shit going on, he's just got all these ideas, I've noticed a lot of people like really turning on Geats kind of out of nowhere for no real reason. And I'm not entirely sure what it is exactly. It's like, I think it is just that usual Takahashi cycle of like, there's so much bullshit going on in the last couple of episodes because of just like the way he writes, that like people just kind of get fed up and turn on it. But because it happened with 01, but I think it's been way like harsher than it was with 01 too. So I don't know what the fuck. It's definitely weird. It has a fucking rocky finale, almost as, I would say it's definitely worse than 01, because even like 01 was really fucking bad near the end. But despite that, I think up to that point, it is the strongest Reiwa Rider show, despite my numerous gripes about the minutia of the setting. A lot of that, again, is just like nerdy shit of like, it's not even really necessary for the plot, but it's one of those like breaks the lore if you start to think about it kind of thing. Like, it never hurts the plot. The plot's consistently, it's a Takahashi show, so the plot's consistently strong. It's always going. There's always something interesting always around the corner. And unfortunately, that is the biggest problem with the show, is that it never fucking really stops and slows down and thinks about it. And to a degree, it is to a detriment. It would be a good starter point for Rider, though, but it's also not going to be like the best. It's not the best Rider show ever or anything like that, but it's definitely the best of Reiwa so far. I really, really did enjoy it. I really absolutely loved this show, though.
I'm not going to sit here and say that this is like... I'm not going to sit here and say that I love this show, but I definitely really like this show. Because, to Jay's point, this is Takahashi undistilled as much as he can be. And because of that, this show thrives and it fucking fails hard. Now, of course, we're weirdos sometimes, and we can think of things that should not be thought about. But even to the general public, I think even somebody watching this as their first show is going to look at some things and think, why though? But why is this? Why is that? Why is this going on? Why is that going on? And I think because of that, especially towards the ending, too many things are going to be like, okay, what is this? Like, how does this correlate to this? And how is this? And it hurts the show. And, I remember I mentioned saying that High School Heroes was a Takahashi show. But this is a Takahashi show times 2. And because of that, while I recommend it as the first-timers type of writer show, I also have to put a really big asterisk in saying you have to be careful and know what you're getting into, because if you don't, you're going to get burnt out really fast. I think since we've been doing the show and we've watched all of Takahashi's other shows, at least in the Tokusatsu sphere, we're used to his breakneck Mach 5 speed of pacing and then crashing at the end. We're used to that now. But if it's your first show watching it at that pacing, you might find yourself being like turned off by it really fucking fast. Especially towards the ending where, let's be fair, everything happens and almost nothing happens at the same time. And it's just strange. But again, I would say it is definitely the best of the Reiwa era. I would not say I love it, but I really liked it. I would say I loved parts of it, though. There were parts of the show that I thought, okay, this is definitely fantastic. But there were other parts where I'm like, Takahashi, what are you doing? What are you doing now, Takahashi? I think overall, it is definitely a show that I would recommend and I would tell people to at least check out. If you're into the Rider War genre of Kamen Rider, your Gaims, your Ryukis, now your Geats, yeah, definitely check it out. It's fun. And you're going to find something in this show that you enjoy, I know for a fact. Like, you have so many things about this show that are great. You have, the mini arc with Keiwa going punished. You have so many little things with Buffa that I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who hates this show legitimately, unless they're just trying to find a reason to hate it, which if you are, you're watching the wrong show. But yeah, overall, I recommend it. It's fun. Go watch Geats, even though I still can't get over that name over a year later. It still sounds really weird.
It is very weird.
But whatever. Another year, another writer show done, another review.
Think one addendum I will make with my suggestion, and I think you kind of said the same thing, is that it's good as a beginner show, but it's also good with an asterisk of this. There are shows that do what this can do without nearly as many flaws, because this show is flawed. I will fully say it's flawed as much as I will.
Every show has
Yeah,
flaws.
yeah.
I think.
I mean, again, I agree. Let's just before you go, Chance, to say, like, I agree with what you're saying, Jay, because again, I do like this show. I really like Geats. I really do. It's just, if you're looking for a show that kind of does some of these themings better and shorter, I mean, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but Garo VR does it pretty well.
Yeah, actually, no, you're right. It does do a lot of Garo VR kind of does a lot of the same themes as this.
Yeah.
You were saying, Chad?
Like, I think, if anything, it's very similar to what you guys are saying. It's a good show to start off on, but I think, as well as, like, although it may be a good starting point, I think it's also a lot better, like, once you have I think you can get more appreciation of this once you have other writer shows under your proverbial henshin belt.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, definitely a lot of the commentary on, like, say, for example, the sponsors and all that is definitely one that people can identify with after watching other, like, writer shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, just overall, like, definitely the meta-ness of, I guess, TV production and, like, I guess specifically with Toei and Bandai and, like, kind of seeing what, like, Yuya Takahashi kind of goes through is also one of those things where it's, like, definitely not, I guess, how do I put it? It's not obvious when you watch it, like, on the first run, but, like, after either discussing it with other people or watching it on a second time, it's like, okay, like, you begin to see it and it adds more layers. I think, I don't know, it's a good show to watch as maybe a first time, but also revisit.
Well, as I said, another year, another writer show. And I think that is where we're going to close it for tonight.
I think before we do close this, where do we think about Gotchard is going? Just real quickly.
Well, it's kind of early to tell what's going on. I mean, he hasn't even aired yet.
True. But I think just kind of given all the details and also all the products that have been, I guess, kind of released and all that, what are we preemptively thinking? I guess, just...
I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't quite have as strong negative feelings going into it as I did with Saber, though Saber, I think, had the cursed seal of Nobuhiro Mori on it from the beginning, so I kind of already knew where that was going. I fuck with the suit. I fuck with the suit designs, but the vibes I got from the trailer were not the best. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it its fair shot. I'm willing to give it a fair shot. Unlike the last couple of times I knew I was gonna hate a show like King Oger. Like I fucking watched more King Oger than I thought I was. Maybe I was hoping there was something wrong, but no, King Oger wasn't good. Maybe Gotchard will be better than what my expectations are.
I'm with Jay. I'm cautiously optimistic. I have not seen anything of the press, so I don't know. I'm going to just keep it at that until episode 1 comes out. But yeah, with that being said, I think we're going to have to come to a close with this episode. I think we had a little bit of too much fun today with the sponsorship and some sponsors. But
we get to survive without the wheel for one more week.
Yep, one more week. Next time you see us, you're probably going to hear all the audio from JWH. So there you go.
And we do whatever the fuck we're going to do next.
So I'm going to be cutting it here. That's Jay. That's Chad.
I apologize
That's
for...
Phil.
I didn't even fucking hear you say my name. I'm so tired, dude.
No, like I said, we're ending it here.
Can't wait to get 4 hours of sleep before I got to go to work tomorrow.
Well, it's been fun. Goodbye.
See y'all later.
Goodbye.